So, yeah, I mean, we've laid the groundwork a lot for just like the preparation, the mental aspect, the style. I want to get into like the actual expeditions now. And I don't know if we've actually like specifically stated it, but there were two. There are two expeditions. One of them you got 17 pitches established.
17 pitches established.
And then the second time, spoiler alert, you came and finished the route.
Yes.
Okay. So I guess I'll open the first expedition with a quote from your write-up. By the way, is there a way to package that and offer it to my audience?
By all means.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Maybe it could be like a Patreon-only subscriber thing?
You can do whatever you want.
Okay.
The thing with it is it's just going to rot away. Nobody wanted it.
Nobody wanted it.
Nobody wanted it, man.
Well, if you are allowing me to share it, I'll find a way to package it.
You should share it.
Okay.
Don't you think, Harry?
Yeah.
I'm not going to send it to the alpinists. It's just not going to happen. They don't give a shit. Climb Magazine did an okay job at it.
That's crazy.
But yeah, the fact that you read it and you actually listened to it. I sent it to my clients. It left my clients crying.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were like, holy shit, this is real deal.
Yeah. For anybody listening that is trying to understand what we're talking about, he did like what? Did you count how many words it was?
No, but
they're super long. So like
I journaled the entire adventure.
Yeah. And he has it all written out, and I'll post it for everybody to read if you're interested. So from this, because the reason why I say this is because I'm going to be referencing, and I already have a bunch of quotes from this. The first expedition was characterized, I think, by cold.
Yes.
And shit weather.
Yes.
And one of the quotes you had from this write-up was, the boys know the weather has had very little bearing on my climbing career. Explain that.
I am not a weather guy. I don't care. It better be like lightning bolts striking for me really to be like, oh, this is a bad day. Like I don't look at the weather. I've never cared about it. Like let it come, let it hit. We'll bail or we'll continue or we'll sit it out. So I really never have given two shits about what the weather's going to do. Granted, I live in California, so I get that. But I do have a monsoon season, which maybe I'm just in tune to. But then again, I've been in some pretty serious lightning storms out there and been like, okay, like now we're in it. But as far as sitting there and looking at a weather report, especially down south in Patagonia, Torres del Paine, strictly speaking, and being like 2 inches of snow or 15-mile-an-hour winds, that really honestly doesn't have any bearing on me in the sense of it's probably wrong.
And not only that, but I think you're doing an objective that takes so much time.
You got it.
You're never going to have a window for 40 days anyway.
Yeah, absolutely not.
And so it's like, we're just going to go up.
Yeah, you're committed. Yeah, so why does it matter? And
you can't predict like a 10 magnitude earthquake, which would be probably the only reason why you wouldn't want to go up there.
As far as the weather down there, you just got to commit and then fight it. And
did you have the same like mentality, or was this something that you adopted for this objective?
No, I'd say I have the same mentality. Like I've, basically until my climbing gear starts shocking me, I won't bail, and like true story.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I mean, I've spent plenty of time, and I mean, like I came up climbing the Southeast I'm from Florida, so we would make like 8-hour drives, and it's like, well, it's gonna rain this weekend. Well, okay, we're going climbing. Like, I'm gonna climb like 20 pitches in the rain because this is just what I do, and so I feel like that has just kind of that mentality has kept up throughout my career, and I guess with that, Patagonia is kind of a logical place to go.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, you're going to get hit. It's just how big you're going to get hit down there.
Yeah. And granted, like the context we're in, like on the central tower, like we could just zip down our fixed lines and jump into the portal edge and like hang out in our sleeping bags. Like, it's not like we're like miles and miles away from shelter or our bivy gear or whatever. Like, we definitely were not cutting margins that thin with respect to that. It's just like, we were totally prepared to sit out the weather as much as we would need to.
And that's the difference between like light and fast is you have the contingency to sit and wait.
Totally.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. Whereas the light and fast, it's either you do or you don't. Yeah. Turn around and get the hell out of Dodge.
Another thing that was interesting, you guys were going up the first, I forget, this is the first objective, but someone else was like alluding to the weather being bad.
Yeah, that was the Spaniards.
The Spaniards. And
the Spaniards were these rad cats that were going for Riders on the Storm, which is actually a very unique situation. I'm sure we're going to get into this. But during that expedition, there was only 2 teams on the wall, us and the Spaniards. And we were quite a ways away from each other. And so we really had no idea what the hell was potentially going on. But we were both facing extremely severe conditions. But also in slightly different microclimates because of what the wall, the aspects of it. And those boys battled their asses off, and they got it, but they started us 4 and dwindled down to 2. And so they really put in the work and suffered and had some issues. But yeah, those guys turned out to be absolutely radical dudes. But they very much, had a different style. And in the long run, it ended up paying off for them. But they definitely made several attempts onto the wall, coming back down, onto the wall, coming back down. And it paid off. But that's just not the style I want to.
I just thought it was interesting because they had mentioned something about the weather, and you wrote in your journal, an outsider opinion can have monumental effect on something like the efforts put forth.
Oh, absolutely.
It's like someone getting in your head.
Yeah, totally. Like, oh, yeah, hey, did you look at the weather? And it's like, then all of a sudden, that's the whole team questioning the plan. We're already packed up. We're moving. The wheels are moving.
Yeah.
But I probably should have fucking listened because what's about to embark.
What else would you have done? Left?
No, we could have set up our camp back at ABC. And because, we had all our ropes fixed all the way up to the shattered pillar when that question came up. And what happens is you're exiting out of ABC. And in this particular situation, we're leaving, and one of the Spaniards, I can't remember who it was, asked if I checked the weather. And I don't care. We're packed up. We're committing to the wall. So we have 2,000 feet of rope, maybe more like 1,500, not sure, going up. And we have to move our portaledges, our personal items. There's 4 of us, so that's 4 haul bags. 4 personal haul bags, 2 portaledges, because ABC, we hang our portaledges about 3 feet off the ground, and then a bag full of rain flies. So that's 4, 5, 6, and maybe a couple miscellaneous items. And we have to make it to the shattered pillar in record time. So we have to haul 6 haul bags anywhere from 1,500 feet to 2,000 feet in a day. That didn't go well.
Yeah.
And the weather changed, which the Spaniard had predicted. And what ensued was actually a rather horrific situation that to this day still wakes me up from my sleep. We were, I think I described it, we were pretty much billowing like workhorses. It was probably around like 2 a.m., maybe 1 a.m., and we are trying to get over these roofs. And the day slowly turned into a mist. We kind of had a late start just because we have to break down our ABC, haul, jug, haul, just rinse and repeat. And we're getting over these roofs, which required so much more effort than we had expected, considering all the pre-hauling we had done, all the pre-loading of the shattered pillar. And there's a spot where the north tower kind of comes into the central and the granite molds together. There's not really a cleft there anymore defining the two. And because of this situation, this became known to us as the ice box. And it's only about maybe 300 or 400 feet below the shattered pillar. And it turning into this mist, this misty rain. We were working so hard, we didn't recognize what this mist was doing. And it was slowly soaking us to the bone. It was soaking our ropes, and it was soaking the wall. And then once we got into this location on the wall that we called the ice box, everything flash froze. just everything. Like you couldn't believe it. The
mist got everything wet, and then the temperature dropped below
and then the
freezing,
temperature
and
just it completely dropped. There's a huge hanging what do we call it? Hanging glacier, hanging serac.
Yeah, there's like a big serac.
Massive below you. So you're getting this like uplift of cold air, and then it just fucking went off. And all of a sudden, Trevor's sliding down on his ascenders. Haul bags are being released from the fucking pulleys, and we're working as two-man teams. So there's bags moving, and then all of a sudden, just everything goes fucking bad instantly. And the snow starts pouring. I'm getting actually goosebumps talking about this because it's about to get fucked. And Trevor manages to get up to me, and it's like there's just so much chaos taking fucking place. I'm recognizing how bad this is about to be. So I'm throwing in pitons left and right into this non-existing horse shit, trying to figure out how to build an anchor because I know exactly what's happening. We have radios, so we're communicating. But Trevor gets up to me. He's like, Myles, we're fucked. I'm like, Trevor, I think we got to pull an e-bivy, man. We're not making it to the Shattered Pillar right now. And he's like, no, we're not. And so the snow starts nuking on us. And, you know, meanwhile, Harry and Kellen, or my bad, Hugo and Kellen are trying to come up to us. And they're dealing with the same thing. They're having to heat up their ascenders with their mouth, huffing on them, trying to melt out the ice out of the teeth. The ropes are cables of this fuck point. I mean, within 15 minutes, everything fucking froze. The whole wall turned into like a sheet of verglass from the mist. Our shoulders were freezing with ice. It was not a good situation. So I get this very jerry-rigged anchor into place and bust out a portaledge. And the plan is we only have time for one. And we're going to have to fucking tough this out. And the way our haul bags are packed is sleeping bags are usually kind of stuffed in the bottom, which we ended up learning just from this particular situation. Let's put the sleeping bags in last. So none of us could open up our haul bags to get sleeping bags. All the water and all the food is up at the Shattered Pillar. All the gas is at the Shattered Pillar. Our job was to move our personal bags to the Shattered Pillar in a 24-hour push, get there, and be ready to rock and roll. And that did not happen. And what ended up taking place was we deploy the portaledge, and I mean, this was like an effort beyond belief. I have 3 guys that are going hypothermic. I'm the mechanical dork on the team, so I'm wrestling this thing together, and I finally get it together, get it inside the portaledge. Everybody's freezing to death. 1 second. Kellen managed to retrieve a sleeping bag.
He packed his on top.
He's the only one that packed his on top. So Kellen grabbed his sleeping bag, and he also had a bag of nuts. So he was like, hey, mine's on top, because in this type of situation, your buckles on your haul bags are frozen solid as well. There's no getting into them. And in this type of scenario, stuff's just going to disappear. If you start pulling out your haul bag in this panic to try to get whatever the fuck you need, it's gone. So it was pretty much like, sorry, boys, we got to tough this out. So the portaledge is deployed. It is hanging on, I think, 2 pitons, something else, and a number 2 Camelot behind what looks like a crack, in a crack. And I think Trevor got in, I got in, Harry, or God, I keep calling, sorry, buddy. Hugo goes to get in, and just as Hugo puts his foot in the portaledge, the whole anchor blows the fuck out, and we go screaming for 15 feet in the satchel and come to a jolting stop. And like the portaledges collapse, the portaledge material is in our face, and we are on our individual ropes, but we have no fucking idea what just stopped us. Like, it is absolutely terrifying. I just remember all of our faces in each other's face, just sucking on each other's breaths, hyperventilating, and just being like, what just happened? And how the hell are we still alive? And, you know, it smells like gunpowder from the portaledge ripping out and scraping along. Something definitely moved. There was a huge grinding noise. And so we get out, assess the situation slightly, and start building the portaledge again. It's not destroyed. It just got flipped and everybody's okay. But we are fucking rattled beyond belief. This is night one on the wall and this is not a good start. And so then we reset up camp and I'm looking and I go to put the number 2 back in and it doesn't fit. So then I have to go to a number 3. The only thing that had caught us was the fixed line that went all the way up to the shattered pillar. I took my personal ascender, clipped it onto that, and did a random backup tether to the portaledge just as a fail-safe. And probably 500 pounds plus of men fell onto a single ascender, and that's what caught us.
Holy shit.
Yeah. What had happened is, and well, I'll continue. So we get back into the portaledge. Okay. I reassess things, throw in a couple more pins, etc. And then we get back into the portaledge and it rips out again. This time though, it's a much smaller fall. It's only 2 feet. We're still fucking rattled. We have 4 of us. I think there's only 1 photograph of this situation. And it's fucking horrific because it's 4 dudes frozen as shit, like borderline hypothermic, sitting side by side, knees crunched with Kellen's brand new sleeping bag sprawled out on us. And we have 1 bag of nuts. And it's probably at this point like 4 a.m. And this is day 1 on the wall, night 1. And like, here we go. So the following morning, we get out of the portaledge. Ugo and I are first up. And the guys are resting up, and I'm looking at the situation to figure out what happened with the anchor, because like stuff's been ripped out of the wall, and you just don't have time to necessarily clean it up in the moment because we had to get into our pod. The number 2 had shifted a block. I mean, a huge block that was like the main point in that anchor system. Everything else was kind of a backup. So that's why the number 3, when we woke up, you could just pick it out of the dirt. It wasn't even doing anything. So the second fall was in the number 3, moving the block once again. And then the chain reaction that happened, it snapped a knife blade piton in half. It like completely tore it. And then that just chain reacted, pulling out other pitons until we finally landed on the ascender, which was backing us up. And then it was just we kind of woke up and it looked like the Himalayas. All of a sudden we were for miles and miles. I mean, like, what the hell just hit us? And so I should have probably listened to the Spaniards. I felt extreme regret for putting my team in such a horrific situation. And it kind of turned into something that I couldn't allow that type of thing to happen again. And that was always in the back of my head. And as that journey progressed, we made it to the shattered pillar, set up camp. We're so wasted that we ended up resting. But then we started the pioneering and we pushed it to 17. And the cold that we dealt with was a low of 22 degrees and a high of 32 for 30 days straight. And out of those 30 days, like I had said, we only climbed for 10. But when we finally threw in the towel, we had sat out probably 100-mile-an-hour windstorms for 48 hours until Trevor and our portaledge, the anchor rope got desheathed, and at 7 a.m., Trevor and I went flying down the wall while asleep to be jolted and woken up to what the hell. And you hear Ugo's portaledge door rip open and him look at us and see us and just be like, glad you're still here, and then zipped up his portaledge. That was like, and that was getting towards the end of like questioning, hey, do we keep going? We hit camp 2, but I don't think we're going to have enough supplies to continue onward. And so, at that point, Trevor and I are laying there, I think day like maybe 28, something like that. And I'm looking at this gaping hole in my portaledge from it ripping out of the wall again. And that's because we had been rattled and tossed for 48 hours in 100-mile-an-hour winds that the device that we used to tension our ledge had cut the rope. And at that point, as Trevor put it, that was a shot across the bow. And we had just suffered so much in those 30 days of pioneering and free climbing in 22-degree temperatures. I remember watching Ugo do some incredible stuff in Kellen. I remember watching Kellen take like a 40-foot whipper out there because he just couldn't feel his hands. I was like, wow, there he goes. So like these guys, man, they pushed it so hard. They really, really did. We sent Ugo out there in a full-on windstorm alone on fixed ropes to go try to figure out a way around the potential A0 if he could free climb. And he was like, Myles, I can't, man. It doesn't go. And so, yeah, the cold, the wind on that expedition was pretty severe, man. And the fact that nobody else was on the wall other than the Spaniards and talking with the locals, they're like, that was the worst like summer we've had in a long time. So this year was definitely much different. And I'm happy it was, because there's no way that we needed to have any of that happening. And we also mitigated the dangers from the first expedition to the second, because I was well aware, like Harry definitely knew the story of the portaledge and getting caught in the icebox. It was very clearly stated, don't get caught in the icebox, right?
Well, we kind of discovered that as we were like refixing everything. Like it was a noticeable, you were on the shattered pillar, like as we were pushing our ropes up higher and everything, and then you would like rappel down over the edge and it got noticeably colder. And that combined with being able to then look at the wall like post snowstorm and see like where we were and what's above us and everything, and like what that section of the wall does, like we realized, okay, this section is much, much colder. That's why you guys had to have that emergency bivvy. Let's make sure we don't get caught there. And we didn't. And we also picked like, I think a couple of things, like we had the in-reach to get better weather forecasting throughout the thing. Like we were able to just kind of time that a little bit better. And like, sure, we've been saying again and again that like we don't care about weather windows, but like we waited and got like a good weather window to like push on and haul. And then we didn't try to like push it. We stopped like halfway to the shattered pillar, set up camp, had our bivvy.
Learned our lesson.
Yeah.
Don't go into the icebox.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's crazy. It brought up the Icarus metaphor,
Oh, yeah.
flying too close to the sun.
Yeah, that's Trevi. Trevi, I have a list of Trevi quotes, man.
One can only count their blessings so many times. Fly close to the sun, although it is enjoyable and thrilling. 1 second too long and your wings will melt.
Absolutely.
It seems like you guys felt like that on camp or the first expedition in terms of choosing whether to move forward or not.
Oh, it was so hard, man. I mean, like to keep pushing in the conditions we were pushing in would have been certain death. Absolutely. Like we definitely had supplies. The guys starved themselves. Like I will not reiterate how blown away I was for that. Like that is, I didn't even ask. I didn't say, hey, boys, sorry, you can't eat. Like they just stopped eating because we literally were buried for 5 days straight. Not only is that like the worst decision we can make, because like you're gonna go hypothermic quicker, you need the nutrients no matter what. I mean, literally, like it shut down. And when I found that out, I was just like, holy shit! Like I just thought I was personally starving myself, but it was like the team totally was like.
I mean, do you think they were silently following your lead?
I hope not, man, because I wish they started eating. Once we found this out, we're like, hey, boys, we got to eat. But that alone created 5 days of reserves food. And we definitely had reserves to push it probably into the 40-day window, which would have given us 10 days from Camp 2, which is the end of Pitch 17, to Pioneer. But to get caught in another 3-day or 4-day or 5-day burial would have just fucking killed us. Because from Pitch 17 to get down on this expedition, How many days did it take us?
That was like a full week.
A week to get down
To
from
pull off of the
17.
wall.
So we had our like summit push that was like, what, 25, 26 hours of going. And then, got down to that. And then we took like 2 rest days because we were just
Annihilated.
completely fucking wasted. And I think we summited, day 34?
Something like that.
Yes, summited day 34. And then we basically moved camp down to the Shattered Pillar and then moved everything down to the glacier. And that was like a whole process of, now we're fixing down the wall and we're going to start shuttling haul bags down. A little bit easier because we're working with gravity.
Even if on the first expedition, if we wanted to make the summit, we would have come off so emaciated and so fucked up because it would have been, let's say, another 10 days if the weather held, plus 10 days plus to get to the summit. And then regardless, as it turns out, it took us 7 days to get off of the wall from where we were. So it's like, if we flew any closer to the sun, man, we were doomed. And we gave it hell. We really did. But that fucking cold.
For you pushing it close to the sun is a whole different ball game compared to like, I'll just use myself, like pushing it close to the sun, right? So
I don't know though.
I would imagine the lines get pretty blurry because your ability to persevere and like choose to suffer and like it's a skill. How like I would imagine that finally drawing the line in the sand and realizing where the edge actually is might actually be kind of hard to do.
I cried in my tent alone after the first expedition because of that line. Yeah. And it didn't have to do with failing. It just had to do with like, shit. Like, that was hard. And the line got drawn. And we were really, really damn close to, being ripped off of the wall. And so, yeah, it's an extremely difficult thing for me to cope with, to be honest.
Harry, how have you seen this like line? Are you able to clearly understand when enough is enough and when choosing to press forward will cause like certain death?
I would like to think so. I mean, maybe I will be proven wrong, but I think I have pretty clear-cut like boundaries on what's too fucked up and what's an acceptable level of risk for myself. And I feel like generally Myles and I are on the same page about that.
Yeah. I think in the grandiose, the amount of commitment to that wall, just physically, mentally, financially, I'm willing to push it a little harder. But if it was, if I didn't have 3 of my best friends on board, to be honest, I don't even know if they would have thrown in the towel if I didn't. Trevor is definitely a voice of reason for me because he was my bunkmate on that expedition, and he definitely really helps me play out some of these situations in my head. And I could guarantee if I say, "Hey, Trevor, let's keep pushing," he'd probably be like, "Okay." And so, yeah, it's drawing the line in the sand on that one and saying, "Hey, we could keep going and we could really push it, but that's a horrible idea." And, honestly, we got really lucky because when we did end up exiting the wall, we decided that we needed to get the fuck out of there quickly. And we left how many bags?
All of them.
Yeah, we only took a few, huh?
I mean, I think we maybe hiked out of there with a day pack.
Yeah, so what had happened is Harry shows up to Chile.
Oh, you're talking about, This is first expedition. Sorry.
Harry shows up to Chile, and me and my team have gotten off the wall. So it's me, Kellen, Hugo, and Trevor in base camp. And in a frenzy to get off of the wall, we left probably like 7 or 8 haul bags at a point on the wall still, because we needed to get the fuck out of there. There was another storm coming, and we couldn't take any more frostbite or frost nip, and just general had the hell kicked out of us. And a storm hit, and we're laying in camp. I'm sicker than a dog. I got really sick being around people, and I think a couple of the other guys started falling ill. And now we have like 7 or 8 haul bags abandoned on the wall. And it's not okay. That is not like a thing to do. And I have a very high standard of that. And it took us weeks to recover that equipment. And Harry shows up out of nowhere, comes walking into camp all excited. And I'm just like,
yeah, I was like frat because I had made friends with some people in the hostel, and we were about to go do some stuff on the backside, which is like significantly, I mean, it's only maybe like 2,000 feet tall at the tallest on that side. Like
on the ice cap side?
Yeah, well, there's like another valley, but the west faces, right, as opposed to the east faces, are much less big and less committing. I mean, you're still in Patagonia, but anyway, so I'm like walking right through the camp, and I didn't even like really realize what was going on. Like I like had my headphones in, you know.
Saw some creepy animals in the forest.
Yeah, I haven't heard from these guys I think I had messaged Kellen a little bit on the inReach, but I was just like, okay, like I'll link up with them when I link up with them or whatever.
I was like, Harry, look, man, I mean, I'm sicker than a dog. I'm delirious. I have some type of stomach bug that is just rifling me. I think Trevor got sick too. And I made a couple attempts to get out there to the wall, and I went like snowblind once because I was I'm whacked. And which, you know, Ugo definitely stepped up, and he and Kellen did some insane business up there, which I was just mortified about going to get those haul bags. That's how whacked I was getting off the wall. And, you know, it might have been an adrenaline overload, but there was something that took me out. So Ugo and Kellen really stepped up to the plate. And then Harry showed up out of nowhere and was like, yeah, let's get some bags and go do some stupid shit on a frozen wall right now. And so eventually everything got pulled off of the wall. And it was probably, 600 feet up, I think, is where the bags were.
Yeah, they were up on what we dubbed the storage ledge.
Hence, because we abandoned all our bags there to get out of Dodge. But it was one of those things that I was like very grateful. And that's when all of a sudden I kind of got the wheels turned in my head, and I was like, Harry. Huh. But we gave it a hell of a go. But I think it's fair to call it, you know, Trevor and I talked about this, the PTSD. It's more, it's not post. I think it's just, what is it? Traumatic disorder, I think. Yeah, you know,
it's just post-traumatic stress. It's not a disorder. That's just how
that's what
respond
it is.
to it.
Yeah.
Post-traumatic stress.
Yeah, so you just drop the D. And Trevi and I have talked a lot about this because we definitely experienced it on round 2. Whereas Harry didn't quite get to experience the wind or the ice fall that we had originally experienced. When that shit hit on round 2 on the second expedition, we were gripped. Oh yeah, when the wind started howling, it was like me holding onto the portaledge, being like, we're gonna fucking die, and I gotta keep my shit cool, and Harry and I are gonna die together, and this is gonna be great. All right, here we go. And I'm like, how you doing, Harry? Harry's like, oh, this isn't too bad. I'm like, fuck you. This is horrific. And in total honesty, those types of situations were bad. But where I was going is that first one, like I was saying, where I live is a lot of fighter jets, and if I'm out climbing and a fighter jet goes overhead, I'm very much like, holy shit, the ice is coming instantly. So yeah, and I, you know, my ex would wake up to me in the middle of the night after these trips, and I'd be shooting up or twitching and, you know, freaking out. And so, you know, she definitely got to experience some of that. So those are things that.
Yeah, I had a friend try to like play a joke on me shortly after I got back. And, jump out from behind a corner and like yell, and I almost hit him in the face.
Shit.
Like, involuntarily.
Wow.
Just like
on edge.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's not like all expeditions around the world are like this. This is just you're on a wall for 30 or 40 days. Things go bad. When they go bad, they go really bad. And, and number one is protecting the ship, taking care of the pod. If that pod fails you, you're going to run into a lot of problems. And so that first expedition was extremely dramatic.
This episode is brought to you by Livezen Designs. Over the last 9 months, I have really put Livezen's clothes to the test. I have climbed over 150 pitches in their clothing. Routes like the Nose, Voyager, Rostrum, and the OG route on Rainbow Wall. And after thousands of feet of climbing, I can say one thing for sure. Livezen's clothes are built to last. The Nose in particular was pretty hard on the fabric, including blood, sweat, and days of continuous effort. And I pulled them out of the wash when I came home to find my pack shirt and Ecotrek trail pants to be pretty much brand new. Stain-free, rip-free, and tear-free. But probably the most impressive thing to me about Livezen's clothing is how versatile it is. I literally took the same clothes I wore on El Cap out of the wash, put them on, and went to work. In my opinion, they are the perfect blend of style, comfort, versatility, and durability. Livezen makes apparel for the entire lifestyle of a climber. Plus, Livezen has an in-house repair program. So if you do tear, rip, or if your clothes fall apart in any way, you can just send them into Livezen and they'll take care of the rest. And if you're worried about fit or just simply not liking their clothes, they offer a 30-day money-back guarantee. So you can buy it, try it, and if you still don't like it, they'll just give you your money back. Right now, you can get 15% off your next order at Livezen by using the link in the description below and code TCM15 at checkout. That's the link right there in the description and code TCM15 at checkout. And remember, every dollar spent at Livezen is a dollar spent supporting this podcast. So, kind of along the same vein and also attached to like the Icarus metaphor of drawing the line in the sand, to be able to push that far to where I was saying, like, my line in the sand is something that's much different than what your guys's might be. And I think that's because you guys have like an understanding of the risk, but you also are willing to sign up for like a large amount of suffering.
Oh, absolutely.
And so like, I want to, I guess, dive into some of like the uglier parts of like what living on the wall entails.
Take it away, Harry.
And like, so obviously this is a generalization, obviously there are some specific things that happen on the first expedition, but I think we can categorize both in these and kind of cover this topic with both. I think like the first one is this concept of a balance between replenishment and rationing. So how are you balancing consumption for fuel to move forward versus rationing to save fuel for later?
That's a great question. I mean, sometimes, frankly, we weren't rationing things as much as we maybe like should have been. I mean, this time around, I feel like we brought enough food that there was pretty much no, like, we never had to like stop eating. And I mean, like, yeah, we weren't eating for fun or because we're bored, but we were never really like having to go hungry or anything like that. And we weren't really, I mean, sure, we were like out of cookies or whatever towards the end of it, but like we had food the whole time, I mean, the water really became a big issue more because we were counting too hard on bad weather. And we ended up with this like really great spell of weather that inadvertently screwed us because we were running out of water. And so like that began some pretty intense rationing.
That was hell.
Dude, yeah, I looked at, so like this is on this is on Expedition 2. Let me where I have this note. I was blown away when I fucking read this. So this is the log. This is a second ascent. February 6th, pitches 19, 20, 21 established. 2.5 gallons of water left.
Man.
Yep.
So that's 3 pitches established, and now you have 2.5 gallons of water left. The next day, 1.5 more pitches established, 2 gallons of water left.
Yeah.
4 people split half a gallon.
3 people.
Three people split half a gallon while also establishing probably 150 feet of climbing.
Yeah.
200 feet of climbing like that. I was like, holy fuck. Like
Snickers bars.
me on half a gallon of water in a day doing like that alone, I would be fucking tripping.
Oh, it was awful. I mean, dude, we were so for one, we kind of realized our water situation, and we reasoned that the more we push, the harder we push, the further we get, the more likely that we're gonna find a snow patch, or we're just gonna top out. Because, you know, ideally
That wasn't happening.
yeah, and so what we were hoping for was that eventually, you know, it's gonna kind of round over. We'll hit some like 510. We'll take that to the shoulder with the Bonington, and then we'll summit. Right, the route doesn't play out that way, but that's a little bit beside the point. Like, so we started. Yeah, we were just pushing as hard as we could while like doing this intense water rationing. Like, you know, we stopped drinking coffee first because that's just going to dehydrate you, and then it was like progressive. Like,
We can't make meals.
yeah, then we weren't
Can't
like
make
we weren't
meals.
making our freeze dried food. We weren't. Yeah, I mean,
We weren't drinking.
Yeah, we weren't
climbing.
drinking water. Like,
That's when things started getting weird for me because I started getting flashbacks of the North Tower on my first ascent. And that's when I started licking the rain fly.
Like I've been here before.
Yeah, man. Yeah. And
I mean, I remember coming to like a little like seep of water, like not even water coming out of a crack, just wet rock, and trying to like lick
Yeah.
it, and getting nothing.
I was dabbing that same spot and putting it on my lip.
Yeah.
And see what had happened is keep in mind, it's also still like 32 degrees, but there's no storm. And so it's like whatever kind of flurries happened, it was this like sprinkling of like ice that you just couldn't collect. And we have water buckets. We have 5-gallon buckets that we designed to, you know, with straps that we can leave open to collect snow. And then as our latrines start filling, we turn those buckets into our toilets. And those buckets, man, you'd wake up in the fucking morning and just be like, please God, please, there's nothing. Like, come on. Like, and so that was the rationing on this journey. Yeah. And Snicker bars, that was all we could eat.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's all we had.
Salami.
Snicker bars and salamis.
Yeah, you had mentioned peanut butter, and you said the oil was the one thing.
Oh, dude, it was so good.
I was like imagining eating
so
peanut butter with like a dehydrated mouth, and I was like, I feel like I'd choke.
Dude, the peanut butter on there is so oily, and if you let it sit, the oil would get on top, and it was like the only thing. Like, and the problem is, you want to like moisten your mouth, but you know, it's a double-edged sword. But the peanut butter also is a major issue for me because that's like my go-to. And the boys weren't coughing it fucking up, so that was another issue.
That was my peanut butter. Pace I eat that is my business.
Yeah. And so, but the, you know, sitting there and literally licking the condensation off of the rain fly again, I was just like, fuck, we got problems.
Yeah, and then so concurrently with this, like, so we're pushing as hard as we can, eating like 400 calories and a couple sips of water a day. And we were aiming for, and obviously, you know, we've got like the photos of the route, and Myles and I are in the portal edge every night, like studying it and kind of trying to figure out where we're going to go. And we're aiming for what looks like it's going to be just this like incredible like splitter number 3 crack.
It's going to be our exit out.
It's going to be our exit out. It's going
We're
to
gonna
take
find
us
snow
into
after this.
into a dihedral. That dihedral is basically going to take us into a ramp system to the shoulder, right? And so it looks like this like perfect like number 3 crack that probably tapered to like
This is pitch 23.
Yeah, pitch 23, and this was my lead. And I start up it, and I'm climbing pretty well for like the state that we're in and everything. And I get up to it, and the crack has an offset that is casting a shadow. And in fact, it is 0.75s tapering to beaks that then disappears 20 feet short of the dihedral.
And that's when Harry calls down for the beaks and the drill.
Yeah,
And we've now moved in the shadow. We haven't eaten in, 4 days at that point?
Yeah, we're barely eating. And so basically what happens is it starts to look like we're going to have to put in another A0 because the features end. There's like definitely some stuff that maybe looks free climbable. I was mostly in aid mode at this point. Like I started off free climbing and then like it quickly became...
Which I am not okay with. I'm not okay with putting a second A0 on this route. That is definitely something that I'm like, if people understood how hard it was for me to put an A0 on the first expedition, it costed the team probably about 5 days for me to finally be like, okay, because that's not why we're there. That's not why we're there. And so then all of a sudden on pitch 23, where Harry's at right now, I looked at Trevor, and I recall Trevor having a bucket clipped to his ass because we always brought a bucket up just in case we found snowmen. Yeah. Also keep in mind, pitch 17 to pitch 23 is some of the steepest jugging. You are free hanging jugging the entire fucking time. So we're not eating breakfast, we're not eating dinner, and we wake up in the morning. Every day we have to jug these overhanging ropes to get up to our high point. So it's like you're fucking exhausted to try to, and then we have Harry being like, hey, we got a problem. Yeah. And so Trevi and I, we talk real quick while Harry wants the beaks and the drills and the bolts, and it's just like, hey, I think you need to come down, and we got a problem, man. This is a situation. And at that point, that's when we were like, oh, fuck, we're about to bail. Yeah. Like, we got to get that hell out of Dodge.
Yeah, because we were, out of water. We had basically enough to shoot straight down, abandon everything. And go, like, melt ice off of the glacier. Mm-hmm. And then probably just, like, take a day to get our shit together and whatever the fuck else. And
we would never, we wouldn't be able to make it back to our shit.
Yeah,
we would never be able to get our stuff.
We were in such a bad way. So
keep in mind, like I said,
and we're standing on this ledge. Like the sun's gone away now.
Dropped to like 20 degrees.
Yeah, and we're all just like shivering. We're malnourished,
4 or 5 days.
Dehydrated, and like, we almost just start pulling ropes right then and there. We ended up making the decision that like we're gonna go down. We're gonna do nothing for a day.
For 24 hours, we as a team decided we're not gonna move for 24 hours. Yeah. Because if we expel any more energy, now we're down to like 1.5 gallons, by the way. Yeah. If we expel any fucking energy, we're doomed. And now we have 1.5 gallons, and even if we bail, who's to say, like I said, it took us 7 days to get down off of the wall. We can roughly call that 5 because we had 2 rest days. But to get down off of that wall with 1.5 gallons for 3 people in 5 days is not going to work. Yeah. And so we laid down and did nothing.
Mm-hmm. And there had been because we're checking the weather every day on the Garmin, and it keeps looking like it's going to snow.
It's not coming.
Day after tomorrow.
Nothing. You wake up in the middle of the night, you can kind of hear it, and you're like, please, please, please.
Yeah.
And then you open it up, and it's like,
it's
just like tiniest of ice crystals floating by. And you're like, we are fucked.
Yeah. But this day,
at this point, I've started contemplating drinking my piss. If you want to know the truth.
I wasn't.
I very much
throw that out there.
Was very much
Myles
raising
brought it
the
up
question
multiple times. Every time I was like, no, don't do that.
Which, by the way,
don't do that.
I don't think we would have gone that fucking far. But I was dying.
Wow.
I was legitimately like, fuck, dude.
Well, at a certain point, you aren't pissing anymore.
No, and at the same point, it's just probably toxic as fuck.
Yeah.
But it sounded like what is it, Bear Grylls?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, drink your piss. You're like, oh fuck me, if I'd rather die. But I definitely was like,
I don't know how you can even keep it down, especially at that sort of concentration.
Oh, there's no fucking way. It would have been pure ammonia.
I would much rather lick the poisonous waterproofing on the rainfly.
Uh-huh. Yeah, totally.
But it very much went through my mind because it was like, we have a serious fucking problem.
Yeah.
And physically, we are feeling it. I mean, from muscle cramps to to the bed rot from being up there for so long. Like, I mean, too long at this point. I'm not even sure what day that was.
I mean, I think we were only like 10 to 12 days into the expedition at this point. At least like from where we committed to the wall, you know? But yeah, we did nothing all day. We'd like seen this like, oh, it might snow like day after tomorrow, you know? It's like, and it's like, as I'm checking it, it's like, okay, it's supposed to snow 5 inches. Check it again. Okay, it's supposed to snow like 6 inches. Now
I think we were more like 20 into the expedition at that point. Kyle would have to look.
It was February 6th, right?
February 6th.
So we started January 22nd. So that's 9 plus 6, 15.
Okay. Just curious. Man, I was ready to drink my piss by day 15. Fuck me. Jesus Christ, we fucked up. All right, so here we do lay down. We lay down and we don't move for 24 hours.
So ultimately, you know, what sort of started as looking like, oh, it like might snow day after tomorrow became like 14 inches of snow that rolled in and just buried us.
The next day, though.
Yeah.
Because we had to sit dormant for a full 24 hours.
We sat dormant for a whole day, and then...
I can't say we were praying, but we definitely were hoping for the best. And when it came in with a goddamn vengeance.
Yeah.
And it buried us for 4 straight days.
And you were probably psyched.
We were psyched.
Yeah, we were super
psyched. What was Trevor's quote? Bad weather never sounded so good.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, it was a blessing, but it still wasn't over. We managed to refill all our water, which was great because I kid you not, we were fingertip to bailing. It was party over. It was a major problem, which we did not anticipate. We had a rainy day on the shattered pillar and it made all the snow disappear, and nobody wanted to get wet. And on a rainy day, I can't say nobody wanted to get wet. I really didn't want to get wet either. Excuse me. On a rainy day, you got to jump out in your slickers and catch as much water as you can. And
the buckets can't do it themselves?
The buckets only catch so much, and you got to really be prepared to catch them in certain spots. Like we have our meal packets that we cut the foil open, shove them in cracks, and fill up jugs.
Like certain funnels on the wall.
Exactly, you got it. But it's always hit or miss, and it's gnarly, because if it's raining, shit's coming down. It's just the mountain starts releasing. But we had an opportunity to collect water earlier on in the week, or 2 weeks, whenever. And we didn't take the time to replenish our jugs, and we paid for it drastically. But the water came, we refilled, and then we were like, all right, let's get back on this. And eventually Harry's pitch, I ended up taking over just because
it was a potential A0.
Yeah. And like we had talked about earlier, I'll take the heat for drilling a second A0, but as it turns out, I managed to find some extremely difficult free climbing that is probably pretty wild. And we both kind of regret that we didn't get to free climb it because it was one of those pitches that's like, oh shit, it's like a gatekeeper for real. Mm-hmm. And if you had to estimate, how hard do you think that thing was? Because it's right up your alley.
Yeah, I have no idea. I mean, it's probably like 5'11" to the point where the bolts started.
And then it probably goes into the high 12 plus range.
Yeah.
Face climbing?
Face climbing out of a crack, and then you get into like a real powerful undercling that's very sporty, and then you just get this dihedral that is fingertips to the anchor. But even that, like we called it the Ironman bivy, which was pitch 17. And those pitches are probably in the range of like 12C. Harry, your pitch was next?
Yeah, it's
probably 12C, 12D, I think is what you called it.
What, my pitch? We're talking about off of 17s, like 18, 19?
Yeah.
No, it's like maybe 11 plus.
And then it goes 12A off with the Vortex, which is just, I hope to God I never have to repeat that pitch.
Yeah, there's like 3 like really steep off with pitches on this.
This lightning bolt that is just like, you can see it from the parking lot. You can literally see the lightning bolt. You're like, that's what we're getting into, boys. And once we were up there, it was like, goddamn man eater.
How are you protecting it?
We had 6s.
Yeah, 6s.
Yeah, bumping 6s. We had 3 6s though, so we were able to protect it. And then I think we placed a couple of pins in spots.
There's
just to
a pin
suffice.
on the vortex.
And then, but it's like really stacked climbing off the Ironman bivvy to the point where it's like, Jesus, just let us go. Just please. And I mean,
Well,
it's
at
like
least
12,
you guys
11,
got stopped right there before and then you got the water to be able to push on from
And
there.
even after pitch 23, it's still 5'11", 5'12" climbing pretty consistently all the way to the shoulder.
Yeah.
But what's shocking is if that was 15, I think what started happening is after we resupplied water, we'd get a day or two of decent weather, and then we'd be buried for 4 again. And then we'd get a day and then be buried for 3. But to get up to our high point that we would pioneer, we couldn't move from the Ironman bivvy because there was nowhere else safe on the wall as far as being sheltered from the wind, being sheltered from ice and rockfall. We really only had one rock go through our portaledge at that bivvy, and it was like kind of a strange fluke. We're not really sure where it came from. But it was definitely one of those things like there's nowhere else to move this camp. So we have to jug 1,000+ feet or 2,000 feet of rope, it felt like, to get there. And so it was pretty heavy duty. Yeah.
You referred to the word magic a couple times. And you have a quote here I'm going to read. And I think it's pretty apropos to like the line you guys were at right when there was like no water.
Yeah, you got to believe in it.
You're 24 hours. Like we're going to believe here. So I'll just read this real quick. You have to believe in the magic of the mountain. It's an easy phrase when things are going your way, but being positive when facing opposition is intensely difficult. Riding the unknown is something that I accept and look forward to. Things can be mitigated and controlled by preparation, but some things are just simply not controllable. So believing in the magic falls in line with believing in the positive power out there for the greatest outcome. Keeping the fear low and the good high, allowing for the greatness of the world to show itself without clinging to some need for knowing. Just enjoying the chaos and believing in yourself and your team to find a way. And it's like that, I mean, you could easily just go straight into panic and just like bail, but like having this belief and giving the world a chance to give you what you need is, it's
100%.
It's a powerful thing to think.
Yeah, especially in that type of situation, you know, you're looking for one basic necessity, just like, please give us water. And you know, I've had enough things happen in my life on adventures by myself that people don't know about that I should probably be dead quite a few times, and I'm aware of that. And believing in yourself goes a very long way into making sure you come out alive. And also when you're with the team, believing in each other, believing that, you know, we're going to get through this and it's going to be fine. And that, you know, creating that sense of like removing the urgency or the negativity of the situation and being like, hey boys, like we can bail. If you want to bail, we can bail. That's okay. Or we can wait for 24 hours. And we talked this out very well. And, you know, it was like, yeah, let's sit and do nothing and believe in the fact that the snow is going to come and believe that we'll be replenished. And sure enough, it did. And, you know, I think when it comes to those situations of, it's not that situation wasn't necessarily like a life or death, because we could always descend and just been really fucked up and dehydrated and, you know, probably would have had to have.
You're still like, you're like allowing the chance for like some magic to happen.
Oh, you have to. You have to. That, I think that's like the coolest thing about being in the mountains in that sense. Sometimes just shit happens. You're like, what? Like,
do you believe in like manifestation?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I 100% do. I've always believed that since I was a little kid.
Sort of, but not in a woo-woo way.
Okay.
Yeah, I believe in the fact that, you know, if you want something, the very first step to having it is to manifest it.
And I think part of it is like believing that you can get
absolutely.
it, or that it could exist in the
That
first
it's
place.
ascertainable, 100%.
And it's like, yeah, it's weird because like there's these weird veins of like existence, and part of being able to access certain ones of them is just literally like being open to receiving it.
Yeah. I think, there's enough to time spent silent in my world. Like, I have a very active life. I really do. From doing my construction to this climbing, it's always a very full throttle thing. But, when I sit down calmly and listen to stuff and just do nothing, I'm like, oh yeah.
There's stuff happening.
Oh yeah, man. And I definitely believe in the concept of magic, for the fact that I think great things can happen in difficult situations. And like, for instance, the fact that it did nuke on us. And this is something that Trevor and I had talked about, that believing in the magic is an old Jim Bridwell thing. Jim Bridwell used to believe in the magic, and he, I have always looked up to that guy because he's a lunatic. And I have a couple other like real tough guys, but he made a comment about a few situations that he was in. And it's just, you got to believe in the fact that everything's going to be okay. And, I've had enough situations on walls where just a simple nudge to my partner, the rock goes flying by because I had my eye on it. I had my eye on it the whole time. Like, here it comes, here it comes, here it comes, and boop, there you go. Yeah. And so it's just, it's having confidence in yourself and your team. But I think it's very important.
We'll get back to talking in just 1 minute, but first, I need to tell you about my favorite climbing pants. Liveson's EcoTrek trail pants are by far the best climbing pants I've worn in my entire 12 years of climbing. Durable, flexible, lightweight, and packed with useful features like zippered pockets, an internal waistband drawstring, and a unique leg roll-up system. Other climbing pants don't even come close. Either the fit is terrible, they wear out in a single season, or you can only wear them climbing. Liveson's EcoTrek trail pants are unique in the fact that they're rugged enough to climb in and still classy enough to go out on a date in. You're essentially getting 2 pairs of pants for the price of 1. Plus, there's a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you can buy them, try them, and if you still don't like them, they'll just give you your money back. Right now, you can get 15% off your next pair of Liveson EcoTrek trail pants by going to the link in the description below and using code TCM15 at checkout. That's the link in the description below and code TCM15 at checkout. And remember, every dollar spent at Liveson is a dollar spent supporting this podcast.
Let's talk about the death block that you slung in
Oh, yeah.
on Expedition 1 and Harry ran into on Expedition 2. Let's go, Myles, set the setting, set the booby trap that you...
Yeah, this is your turn.
That you left, right. And then Harry, take it from there.
The booby trap that I set. Sorry, that's fucked up. Harry, was that pitch 15? 14. 4. Oh, remembers it. All right, so on pitch 14, on the very first expedition, it's a pretty strenuous crack to get up to a really decent ledge, and then it kind of seams out and gets really sporty. And on top of this ledge is a block that I think I could call it about 8 inches thick by about maybe 1.5 feet wide.
Yeah.
And probably about 2.5 to 3 feet tall. It's essentially, let's just call it a nice solid tombstone. And what had happened is I'm very observant about this kind of shit. So I'm quite delicate around loose stuff and I can just recognize it. And I went to drill a bolt and I just needed my angle a little better. So I stood a toe up in between the block and its little brother over there, which wasn't really a concern. There's just a little pod that I was able to put my toe in. And I must have stepped on something by doing that. And I think I have the hole drilled as I'm going up to pretty much put the bolt in, I believe. And I must have stood on a plate that fulcrumed this block and it pitched out on me. And so I'm on like a 2-foot ledge and this block's about 8 inches thick. And all of a sudden it falls onto my kneecaps. And I am now in full fuck me mode. And I have the whole team. I got Hugo and Kellen free climbing below me. And I got Trevor holding my line. And I have to push this block against the wall. I have to manage to get a bolt into the wall, into the hole I drilled. And I start swinging over my head to set it. And I miss swing and I bend the bolt and I just mangle it because I'm freaking the fuck out. And now I have this worthless piece of shit I just put in the wall, which I'm not happy about. And I have this block that I'm holding against the wall. And so I managed to clip the bolt that I fucked up. And now I got this big block. So I'm kind of protected. The bolt's probably going to rip out of the wall because it didn't really set. And so I'm talking to Trevor about the situation while I'm holding the block with my knees and describing what's up. And I was like, hey, my only option is I take a sling, a shoulder sling, I put it around the tombstone, and then I start driving in like a number 2 long, thin blade into a seam, a knife blade. And it goes in maybe about 3/4 of an inch. And I kind of press this block and then shimmy a little block underneath it to wedge it. And there it is. And that's where it laid. And, you know, that was pitch, you said 14?
Yeah.
And so then we continued on. But for quite a long time, even on the second expedition, I'm aware this block is there. And I'm also aware, like, maybe the block's not there. But also maybe while we're sleeping on expedition 2, this block's going to fucking kill us.
So it's, just to be clear, after you left it behind, it's basically strapped to the wall with a knife blade and a sling.
Yes. It's, I can't call it strapped. I've wedged the block slightly, so it's kind of like taking a nap against the wall, and the sling just happens to be there. Okay. So I finished the pitch, and, you know, the expedition ends. And a year later, you know, Harry is my rope fucking gun. Harry, fucking you climb all these pitches on the lower shit that I pioneered. I don't want to do it. You get me up there. And so I send Harry up on pitch 14. And before Harry takes off, it's kind of late at night. It's like probably around 8-ish.
Yeah, like the sun, it's towards the end of the day. Like we'd been working most of the day, hauling stuff or jugging back up to where we'd established.
But I only had a few words. And then you can have over. I was like, don't look at it. Don't touch it, but it's there. And you'll see what I mean when you get up there. And so this is, now Harry can take over.
Yeah, and so like up to this point, I'd basically been on-sighting the whole route. Like whether I was following or leading, like I'd had one fall on this like 11C slab that was just like soaking wet at the bottom of the route. So like I'm doing pretty well, and like I'm trying hard, and like I really want it on this pitch. And, you know, I get up through the first part, and I get to this rest ledge, and, like, I see where the block is, you know. And just like Myles said, you know, I don't really have to touch it. I don't have to look at, like, it's not, I have no problem climbing around it, right? And, you know, I get up above it. There's, like, the bolt that I guess you drilled another one.
I ended up chopping the old one. Put in a nice new one.
Yeah. So like I get through that, you know, and this is kind of like getting into the crux of your climbing, and it's just like, it's some tricky like stemming. You're in this actually like really cool, like sort of double dihedral feature. And so I get the first bolt clipped, you know, climb up a little bit more, get the second bolt clipped. And then like, you know, off the second bolt is like a very hard move, you know, and I think I see what I'm doing, you know, and I'm fired up. I'm like full going for it. And, you know, like tip tap my feet up and try to dead point to this crimp, and it's nothing. Like it's just like texture on the rock. Like there's no edge there, anything. And I'm off. And, I fall and I like swing in, and my feet like kick the block. I had no control over it, right? Like I'm taking a whip, right? And the block just like, you know, you hear the granite grind, just, and the block like unseats itself and then stops and freezes because the sling worked and like caught it, you know, just fully like hanging in space, like not, you know, and the sling for context too, like it's not girth hitched or like tightened down. It is just draped over the block.
What? You're welcome.
So, you know, and I in the instant that I see it start to shift, I realize what's happening, and I'm like, scream rock. And everyone like freezes.
Trevi and I are down below by what, like 50 feet?
Yeah, you guys are probably 50 feet below.
Just like, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah. Because
Like looking, I mean,
I'm sure it was like a guttural scream.
oh
Like-
yeah, I
like
mean,
we're all
as
gonna
loud
die.
as I've ever screamed in my life, like, you know. And so the dust sort of
also keep in mind, Trevor and I are diving on top of one another, trying to save each other, but like we're gonna die.
yeah, 100%.
We're gonna fucking die. We're
yeah,
aware
there's
of it,
really
too.
no like, and there's no rhyme or so you know the dust sort of settles and like the block's still there and like none of us are dead. Like there's really no like rhyme or reason to why that went the way that it did, but it did. And you know, we're shouting back and forth at each other, like trying to figure out what we're gonna do.
I'm trying to get him to keep climbing.
Yeah.
Like, it's good. Keep going.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, and I'm not doing a great job of explaining like
The severity.
no, dude, like this is about to fucking go. Like, you know, it's like, what do you mean? Like,
oh, you're fine, man.
yeah, exactly. And so finally, like Trevor, being the voice of reason, is like, hey, like, you want to just like come back to the belay and we'll talk about this?
Harry's like, yes.
Yeah, pretty much. So you know, we go back down, we sit and talk for a little bit, and eventually Myles goes up to just see what's going on, realizes how fucked it is.
Oh yeah. Instantly.
Yeah,
It's a,
instantly sees like just how fucked it was.
I don't know how
And-
deep the piton is. It's like hanging on, like, just imagine putting a quarter. Take a quarter
Yeah,
and
and
put it in the rock.
it was not a long, thick knife blade.
Yeah,
it was
yeah,
like
yeah.
that long.
Well, but it not hammered to the eye. It's only
Yeah,
in
and,
there.
and not driven to the
No,
eye.
it's only in there 3/4 of an inch. It's
Yeah.
a long blade, but it's only hammered in 3/4 of an inch because it's a seam.
Yeah. And, you know, we bring everyone up. You know, Myles improvised an anchor on the 2 bolts because they're right there, you know, so it's like, that's all pretty routine. We like get everything into position. All 3 of us go up and get level with the block, and then we cut the sling.
We
And the
pull up our
block-
ropes, pull up all our ropes, coil them all up, and then the 2 of them, I cut it as they both push. Yeah, it's because keep in mind we are fixing the wall at this point.
Yeah.
We are above the shattered pillar, but we are fixing as far as we can before we fully commit to the wall. So now we have about 2,000 plus feet of rope below us. And at this point, it's probably about 9 o'clock or later at night when we decide to cut this.
Yeah, it's finally like, yeah, by this point, like all said and done, like night has fallen.
Oh yeah, we're in headlamps.
We have headlamps out at
We're
this
at
point,
headlamps
and like
cutting the block.
we watch the block like just disappear, and then like we hear it crash, like see sparks fly all over the place, like a couple times as it goes down, and then it's gone. And that was the end of that day, and we start going down. Like,
But
do you want to take it from here, or do you want me to keep going?
oh yeah, you keep going. I'll interject.
Yeah, so we start our descent. It's all going pretty smoothly. Like we've got, you know, we're just zipping down the fixed lines. We're high up, but
You're
pretty
going
routine at this point.
back
Like,
to your camp.
yes, back to at this point we were in advanced base camp
We're not on the wall
at
yet. We are not
the
committed.
foot of the glacier.
Oh, whoa.
yeah, this was when. So we spent.
We were making some dynamite time on reascending our pitches because the pitches had been established. So we were just taking whatever excess rope we have
And just fixing.
pushing it a little further. So, you know, we pushed it as far as 14 and a half before we committed to the wall.
Wow. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, we ended up. The way things ended up was we didn't return.
Wow. So you guys move fast when you're fixed like that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
The climbing's easy, man.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, even just getting down, if you fixed every pitch, it's like, zip, 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 it's
Yeah,
like straight down.
It's
Yeah, you get into the rhythm and you're just kind of going and going and going.
yeah, the
but,
pioneering sucks.
Myles, right before the shattered pillar, comes up like 15 feet short of the anchor, and the rope had been cut
It's gone.
by the rock fall.
Yeah.
And you know, basically from there, fucking perfect synchronization of where each of us happened to be at each anchor point. Because each, you know, you refix the rope as you go down the wall to protect it from edges and stuff.
Yeah.
And at each of those points, you leave like maybe an extra 5 feet. Yeah, just a little like J of
A little
slack.
swoop, yep.
Facilitates getting off the rope, getting onto it, whatever else. Like you need to lower out.
This is believing in the magic.
Yeah.
This is a magic moment.
Really, I think all of this, right? I mean, I think the sling holding is pretty magic too.
It is now drizzling.
Yeah, and it's starting to rain.
It has been a very high intensity day at this point because Harry and I were free climbing super fucking hard. Mm-hmm. We almost died. I can see the fucking shattered pillar. Everybody's tired. It's now probably like 11 o'clock at night or later.
Probably later. It's probably like, because I mean, it was probably 11 o'clock when we were cutting the sling. Because the sun doesn't go down until like 11.
So all of a sudden I can see a number 2 Camelot, which is the next rope is connected to. And I go to it and it's just the knot of the rope. And it's been severed right there and it's gone. And I'm just like, oh shit.
Yeah. Yeah. And so
I call over the radio and I say, hey boys, I'm coming up short on the anchor. And without any bullshit, no comments, no argument, nothing. I don't know how it happens, but I remember at that moment being so fucking proud of these guys because I'm rammed into the fucking knot on my gree. I'm fucked. And then all of a sudden, because it's like it goes from me to like a piton that I had fixed way up there. And I'm like, I went down to the next piece to go hook up and continue because we're all on one rope, but since it's fixed and bumped, we're able to move. Out of nowhere, like 10 feet show up. A rope just comes down. I don't know if they were communicating or what, but they all worked it out.
yeah,
And then all of a sudden, though, I was like, I'm excited. I got rope, so I like go back up, undo my thing, and I start going further down, and I call back up. You remember that? I'm like, I need more rope. I still don't have enough. And then within minutes, and you know, Trevor's hanging on a piton. I think just literally fucking clipped into the goddamn thing. Harry, I think's on a bolt, right?
Yeah, I think I was on a bolt. So
Trevor was not happy. He was very, very mad that he had to be clipped into a fucking piton. Yeah. Which rightfully so. Yeah. But all of a
I
sudden,
think I was clipped into a cam.
all the rope shows up. And it was just one of those things. I mean, maybe there was a 15-minute delay through that whole process of discovering. And just magically, I had just enough fucking rope to get to the shattered pillar to get hooked up to the next fix line.
Yeah, and you mean a lot of that comes down to the fact that, like, I just happened to be just passing an anchor point that had a lot of rope of excess slack that I could feed down because there was like kind of a roof you needed to lower out over or whatever. So like that played a big part in that. But yeah, I mean, we basically as fast as conceivably possible, the problem was solved because of just where we were in space and how well we were able to communicate.
But I do remember getting to that glacier, man. And my best pal, Trevi, he was not happy with Myles.
For context, too, like earlier in the day, Myles had kind of had a meltdown about an anchor being disorganized, not realizing that he was the one that built the anchor. Love you, buddy.
It happens.
So there was some tension.
There was some tension for sure.
There was some tension.
That, you know, immediately resolved as soon as we almost died. Yeah, it was, and it's like 3 a.m., 4 a.m. at this point, and yeah.
Yeah, Trevi made it very clear to me. If it's gonna fucking be like this, fuck you. I was like, what's wrong with this, man? This is just how it is. It's the Central Tower, right, baby? Look at it. He was like, I'm gonna fucking kill you. And so yeah, we made it back to our camp. Probably ate some top ramen and then passed out.
If you hadn't have had that extra slack in the system, how would you have filled the gap?
Man, it would have been a pain in the ass
Because you had to pull
We-
rope
we
from
would've had
somewhere,
That
right?
probably would have been the solution.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
we would have had an extra rack in camp. We probably would have stolen a rope and figured it out. Mhm. And just rappelled until the point where we got to where we need to be, and then we'd fix it. And that's the funny gamble. Like, I'm very intense about fixing ropes because I don't want them to grind. I don't want them to cut. It's just, I have dreams that I wake up and that's how I go because of something stupid. So I'm like very like on it. And so to come down and be like, fuck.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the rock fall. Randy Levitt said that he has a rule. He'll never tie off the fixed line out of sight.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
the next tie-in point is always somewhere you
Yeah.
can see.
Yeah.
Totally.
Totally.
So
and
It was right over there. It wasn't too far.
yeah. And that
it's
also, well,
It's like a J hook.
yes.
Yeah.
And it also makes sense, like, the more you fix the rope, and this is getting techie in the way this, but like, you're creating less rope stretch
Yeah.
each time. So it's just like easier to get onto the next line. Like, you're not jugging, you know, where you're like, let me jug all the stretch out of the rope before I can start.
Yeah. You know what we would have to do to our fixed lines just to protect them is how many wall haulers do we have?
A lot.
Like micros, we probably had, or minis.
I
Micros.
mean, at least 6 or 7.
Yeah, and we just
I
use
had
those
3.
like as sailing devices to tension off the rope. So, because
Yeah.
if there's any slack like this, this cord, right? Any bit, it will rub, and it will rub in a 24-hour period, and you'll jug past your rope as Harry did, and just be like, "Whoa!"
Yeah, which like that's another story. So like we still got a core shot in one section on one pitch, and like I didn't see it or realize it until I had slid my first descender past it. It was like, oh, well, glad I'm past it.
It just the slightest looseness in a rope. So like every
By the wind, just like
yeah, just a
Oh,
little
yeah.
bit. It's like a little snake just rubbing, and then it's shot.
Wow.
And so, every refix, we would pass the rope through the carabiner, pull it down, tension it, tie a trucker hitch. So every time you jug up, you're just like rinsing and repeating. You're undoing it. It's a very like methodical process to make sure that those umbilical cords aren't getting destroyed. And so when a rock comes down and hits it, it's like, it deeply bothers me. It really does. And I chopped in one of our ropes and I felt terrible. I like couldn't get over it. I was like, I cut our brand new rope. Like, no. And so, yeah, that was, I didn't fully understand and I don't know if I can use the word impact that had on Harry until recently when he read something to me that he was writing.
Yeah, I have like I got like maybe like 8 or 9 pages out of basically just the block.
Which I fully
Like
understand.
that event kind of onward to the end of the day. And like I have more that I'd like to write about. I've been like I wasn't really journaling on the wall, but in the time since I've kind of gone back and started like writing almost more just like the story.
Which I fully understand. Harry almost killed his team.
What were you writing about?
I mean, it's like I would be happy to share it with you if you'd like to read it. I've got it written up. Or if you want to put that on your Patreon or whatever.
Are you just recounting the events, or like was there a certain point of reflection that you had based on the events that you focused on?
It's a little bit of both. It's like my own like internal thoughts in the moment as it was happening, combined with, just a recounting of the events, but like, trying to really like tell the story and like, I don't know how to describe it. Like, it's less of a journal and less of like a factual list of what happened and more of like a literary account, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I hope that makes sense.
I think I got what you're saying.
Cool.
I'd love to check it out.
Yeah, I'd be happy to share it with you.
It was pretty heavy. It was a heavy duty situation.
Let's be real for a second. The blueprint for a successful climbing podcast is simple. Interview the most famous climbers in the world. Big names mean big followings, lots of SEO power, and a built-in audience that helps promote every episode. But this show has never been about that. From the beginning, it has been my mission to bring you stories from the climbing majority. The climbers who don't live in the limelight. The ones who quietly put up routes, build communities, and help give back in ways that are rarely recognized. And while that's what makes this show special, it also means we have an uphill battle when it comes to growth. And that is where you come in. If you believe in the show, if you've been fired up, inspired by an episode, word of mouth is the single most powerful way to help the show. Share an episode with a friend. Post about us on social media. Jump onto Reddit threads and Mountain Project forums and tell people what you've been listening to. Also, I am on a mission to beat Climbing Gold's Spotify review count. If you haven't already left this show a review, please head on over to Spotify to give this show 5 stars. We only have 1,000 more ratings to go.
The next incident I think it would be interesting to go over, and this will kind of bring us to a next topic I want to come up, was the French team.
Yeah.
The French team. So tell me about what happened there, and then I ultimately want to like steer this towards the juxtaposition of like
Pros
and
Yeah.
your guys' Ascent. So
Number one, no calling names,
Okay.
right?
Yeah. No calling names.
No calling names.
No
and
calling names.
also, I don't think it's fair to no calling them names, and also I don't think it's fair to call their names out.
Sure.
I don't think that's necessary.
yeah, there's no need for identification.
No.
This is more just like it's fine to describe what happened in a literal
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
And then just it's more about like a comparison of experience.
Yeah. Well, okay, so I feel like let's back up just a little bit to give it some more context. So we were in our advanced base camp, which is at like basically the foot of the glacier, like right where you would start needing to put on crampons or whatever.
This is obviously Expedition 2.
Yes, this is Expedition 2. It's the 3 of us, and then our friends, Nico and Easy, were going to climb the South African route. And they were sharing basically our advanced base camp location with us. They had their own little like site set up. It's basically a portaledge camp on the ground. Another team of pro climbers show up.
How do you know they're pro?
Well, all right.
Okay, never mind. If it's identification wise,
Yes.
then that's fine. I thought it might have been just like visually.
Yes.
Oh, no,
okay,
no.
so you
They're-
cut this
they're-
out. The way I know that they're pro is that I've seen their social media
Yeah,
profiles and I've
they're-
seen the grants that they've gotten even since this event.
Copy.
Yeah.
Okay. That's enough context. Yeah.
Yeah. But also, they have the attitude of pro sponsored climbers.
Which is what?
In my experience, and I've like interacted with some better known climbers and like cross paths, and like they can definitely carry an air of like superiority and like, I deserve to be here, you don't deserve to be here, like you're not good enough to be here. Like those are things that have, whether explicitly or implied, been said to me, not here but just in general, like I've heard it,
I would say overall they were very friendly, but they were friendly.
I would not say that.
They were
but-
friendly, but what did ensue was becoming an issue on Nico and Easy because they're sharing the same route, and then eventually we caught the wrath of it with our timing.
Yeah. So I don't think that they were being friendly or courteous at all.
There's a difference between courteous and kind and being outright like asshole-ish.
Yes.
Like you can appear as though you're being
So these
pleasant.
right. And I do not feel that they were like at all.
I thought in the beginning they put on a nice face.
Well, so they show up the first day that they want to get on the wall.
Oh, that's right.
And
Crawlovers.
yeah. And so Nico and Easy already have pitches fixed like almost up to the shattered pillar. They want to jug their lines to get ahead of them. And they come into camp and ask Nico and Easy if they can do that. And they say no, rightly so. Their response is, well, maybe you should be on your ropes then and not sitting in camp.
Holy shit.
Yeah. Then we all get to the base of the wall. First day that they show up. They're crawling over me to start climbing. And
South African is right here on our left.
yeah,
and then ours goes this way.
yes, and they kiss at the shattered pillar and diverge.
But they start within 6 feet of each other.
Yes. And, you know, they are climbing right up behind Nico and Easy. They are rushing everything way too fast. They're like climbing over us, getting in our way. They're just being wholly like unfriendly. They make no attempt to introduce themselves or
Yeah, they don't really care too much about.
try to be friendly with us at all. It is from the get-go, it's an adversarial, competitive energy that they are bringing to this whole thing, whether it's wanting to jug somebody else's lines to get ahead of them, whether it's climbing right across the board. And they are just being, you know, we ask them what their plan is for their poop disposal, and their response is, "Oh, we figured it out. Don't worry, we won't shit on you."
Yeah, we want
You know, because of course they're going to be ahead of us,
Jeez.
right?
Yeah.
And just crap like that, you know, and again, carrying this air of like superiority and whatever else you want to call it.
That's them showing up to the wall for the first time. Situation.
That's day one, right?
Now, keep in mind, Nico and Easy, I've been in communication with for a month prior to the expedition. Nico is a friend of mine. We know each other. We've become better friends because of this expedition. But Nico reached out to me very much being like, "Hey, Myles, I heard you're going to be up on the wall. And I just want to make sure we're all in coordination and playing safe." And I was like, "Dude, absolutely. Let's figure this out. Let's figure out a way to communicate." And we talked. And we figured out, you know, hey, you know, Nico and Easy are pushing onto the wall this day. We should stop climbing now. Now they're on the wall. We're going to stop climbing for the day and let them have their fun, and we'll descend, or we'll wait. We'll wait until we see them go down before we start descending.
And for context, like Nico and Easy showed up for their first day on the wall. We had pulled all of our ropes up and done a bunch of work to like get ready to drop some blocks that needed to go, and we stopped. And like we abandoned that plan and abandoned hours of extra work that had been put in pulling up 2,000 feet of fixed line to be able to trundle some blocks without damaging
And
it.
then Nico and Easy showed up. So it's just like, you know, it was a respect and a communication that we had.
Yeah, and very much.
And also, you know, something, I've climbed a lot of really big rocks, and it's not very common for me to have any other teams on the wall.
Yeah. This was a very weird situation. I mean,
It was an interesting situation in general because the amount of parties on the wall all of a sudden compared to the first expedition where there was no one. And then all of a sudden I have a photograph of 8 people on the face. I'm like, whoa.
And they were all on the South African.
Yeah. Yeah. It was intense. Okay, so.
But yeah, so that just sort of like sets the stage for how the, you know, and that energy carried throughout our dealings with them. But specifically, the day before we go to push onto the wall, like we have everything in position, we've got everything pre-hauled to the shattered pillar. The next day, we're just going to take our personal bags and our portal edges with like some food and everything, and we're ready to commit and haul to the shattered pillar and start living up there, right? And the night before, one of the members of this team comes to us and asks what our plan is for tomorrow. And, you know, it's like, oh, we've got like a couple more load carries to do, and then we're committing to the wall, right? And
The wall falls in the shade about 3, and I recall telling that team member, you know, we'll be at the base of the wall by 3. That's when we're pushing off because we don't need to be in the blazing sun. It was a nice day.
Yeah.
And so 3 o'clock is when we're going to start moving.
The time of commitment was communicated.
Yes, exactly. They knew exactly what our plan was. We get up there. They're way ahead of us. They're hauling all of their stuff up to the shattered pillar. And they are dropping rocks on us like just absurd amounts. I mean, we get to the base of the wall and it's like for 10 minutes, it's like we're being fucking shelled by artillery. Like the rocks start dropping and like Myles and Trevor dove under their haul bags. I remember spinning around to start running down the glacier I spin on my heels, a rock explodes right in front of me. I dive under a boulder, and the bombardment just keeps going.
Yeah, I remember at one point I wrote about sacrificial limbs, and it was, Harry, you remember all four of us huddled together under the haul bags because we could hear it. It's this waffling sound. It's just this like, there's no screams of rock. There's no warning. There's nothing.
Zero warning.
And if they did warn us, it was very lightly yelled.
They said nothing. Yeah. And that was one of 10 times that day that something like that happened. And because we didn't have a choice, we had to keep going. Our portal edges are broken down. Like, our stuff's packed up. Like, our food is up there. Like, we have to get up there. And we're going, and it's like, I make it to one ledge, and I'm hauling, and then a microwave-sized block explodes right next to me and pelts me with shrapnel. And I keep hauling, and then a baseball hits me in the head. And I keep hauling, and then Trevor and I are hanging out for a brief moment under a roof because we think we're safe, and a brick splits the two of us, bounces off a haul bag, and then nails Myles in the shoulder.
Bam!
And
it was right under a roof because I'm being a smart ass. I'm like, hey, we're under a roof.
Right, exactly.
Because, I'm nuts. So to me, I'm pissed, but I'm also like, hey, we're under a roof, guys. Everything's cool. Then, blah!
Well, that was all three of our feelings. We were like, okay, we're like
Finally
up under this roof for a
safe,
sec.
yeah.
Let's just like take a second, like chill.
Somehow this thing. But, there's...
And just constant, like all day. And these people, and we're shouting at them.
I was about to say,
we
yeah.
are screaming up at them.
Like, what the fuck?
Exactly. And they are not stopping. And we have accounts from people who were present with them on the Shattered Pillar because several teams were there that, they were leaning back and just like happened to kick a rock off and just like shrugged and watched it fall and didn't say anything. Knowing we were down.
Yeah, it put us right in the firing line for a solid 8 hours.
Yeah. Yes. And so then, they start going down for the night. And they're trying to like slink past us. Not saying anything. They're not looking at us, And Myles...
I'm not gonna let them go that easy.
Yeah, no, I loved what you said.
Like to your credit, you were being very diplomatic.
I was trying.
Of like, hey, like
We got to talk, ladies.
we've got a problem.
We need to chit chat.
Yes, and again, like I thoroughly believe we didn't stop them. They would have just gone right by without saying anything.
But sadly, what came out of that conversation was when I was asking to please yell rock louder, like my life depended on it, and my teams show some respect that you care about us.
All they were was dismissive.
And what was stated was, you need to get your hearing checked.
You need to get your ears checked, and you don't own the mountain. We have as much of a right to be here as you. And I lost it.
Harry went a little angry.
And I stand by this 100%. Both middle fingers in the air. Fuck you, and fuck you.
It was
extreme. Yeah, and yeah. That's, I can get angrier about this, but that sums it all up.
Was that probably like the most...
That was the most rockfall I've ever dealt with in my...
Yeah,
100%.
Most rockfall, but also the most egregious version of this like disrespect that you've come across.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
When I was talking to him when they did make the comment, and also like, I'll touch back on this, but when they did make the comment, I definitely say, hey, that's not nice. We're all tired. Shit happens. I get it. All I'm asking for is, hey, yell louder. Yeah, just yell louder. Also, you saw us coming and you're dropping stuff, like, just stop. Yeah. And what I was voicing was like, hey, look, we've been loading this wall for 30 to 40 days. You guys know we're here. You've talked to everybody in town. Everybody knows that we're up here. We're working, you're working. This takes time, is what I was explaining. This is a lot of time. You can't rush this. This isn't a weather window situation. Like, chill. Take all the time you need. You're putting pressure on those guys. You're dropping stuff on us, and, chill out. And by me stating that we've been up here for 40 days loading the wall, because fixing ropes, getting stormed out, fixing ropes, moving some food up the wall, it's a lot of effort. It's not necessarily 40 days of work at that point, but it was 40 days of us living in the rainforest, moving loads, prepping. We're on the wall. We're moving shit. And that's when they made the comment that you don't own the wall. And I was like, God damn it, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just asking you to please yell rock louder as if you care. And so it didn't go very well. Yeah. But then once, they descended, we spent the night on the wall, and, our paths were going to cross, and they did.
They crossed again?
Yeah, just at the Shattered Pillar,
because
because that's a camp, that's a main camp, and there was no space because me, Harry, Easy, there's 3 portaledges on the Shattered Pillar.
There were 3
and Trevor.
portaledges.
And so, they went somewhere else, which is fine. But, to not, the way I look at it is, look, I choose to do a pretty high-end sport that has high risk, and I understand shit happens,
It seemed intentional.
It maybe seems intentional, but it's also maybe just like, maybe they just weren't aware that these blocks our route is so plumb on that wall.
They knew, because when Myles was trying to talk to them, they tried to feign an apology that they were really, really concerned about us and really worried about us, and that they were yelling rock and they really didn't want to hurt us. And I think that that's just a load of bullshit. I think they were lying through their teeth to us. And I think they were lying through their teeth about crying after I screamed at them too. I don't think that's true. And honestly, if it is, I don't care.
Pulled the victim card?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, because other friends of our, it's a small town, like Word Travels, Karow's crew came back through to do the South African, and we heard from them that, one of the people from that team had a whole breakdown and was crying at the next anchor.
Which
after
I could
that
also believe, because we had some pretty serious close calls, man. We did. Harry taking the head to the rock was
Yeah. I almost died. I don't really care if her feelings were hurt.
Yeah.
That's where I stand.
Yeah, so it was heavy duty. It was 8 hours of terror.
That's wild.
I would think a lot of it just had to do with the concept of how they travel in the mountains. They're more light and fast athletes. Excuse me. They're more alpinists.
I don't know. So I'll push back on that just because I don't even climb as chossy a terrain as you guys do. But I climb on some chossy terrain, and there is a way to move on chossy terrain, and you don't dislodge shit. It's it's pretty fucking easy to move gracefully across stone and be conscious enough to do that.
Well, and the issue too was they weren't even climbing; they were hauling.
Yeah, they were hauling.
It was
a
their
bag.
haul bags dislodging thing.
So I could see the haul bag accidentally doing stuff, but I do believe there was a little bit of climbing that was taking place because they hadn't quite reached the point for their bags. So they did a little bit, but I would like to give the benefit of the doubt. I understand shit happens. I don't hold any grudges just because, but my big thing is, out of respect to any fellow climber, if I'm above you and I am, for instance, pioneering a route like I like doing, and I am accidentally dropping shit on you, I'm going to stop what I'm doing. Out of respect. That's just a respect thing. Yeah. And it would have just been nice in that situation if, 1, 2, 3, hey, we got a problem here. 1, yes, we have a problem. 2, shit, guys. 3, you're all right, look, get the fuck off the wall, please.
Yes. And this went on all day.
Yeah, 10 hours. It also could be a situation where it's rock, and then third time, fuck, I'm sorry, you guys okay?
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
None of
And it's not like we couldn't hear each other. There just was a very small yell, potentially at times, that I was like, what was that? Oh, shit.
Yeah.
And that same day, Izzy dropped her walkie-talkie, and we heard it. We heard rock. and we saw the walkie-talkie.
Yeah, Easy accidentally dropped her walkie,
You know,
which was
like,
a bummer for
it
her.
wasn't
but
like
she clearly yelled rock.
Yeah,
I
so
was
there's like a comparison.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and to what, and regardless if they were pro climbers or not, they were being incredibly entitled.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a level of that was interesting because I wrote my rant about that in my journal where, that was.
Yeah, so actually, can I read it?
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't care who you think you are out here in your Insta bubble or if you're a professional athlete. If I'm going to be hurt or killed doing what I passionately love, it best be the wall deciding it was my time or my own personal fuck up, not by someone else on the wall being a follower for their followers. And certainly not because you're chasing the so desired weather window.
Yeah. That for me is I'm not very big on social media. I don't really I do it because this is like I love doing this because it's the hardest thing I can ever imagine myself doing. I enjoy the pain, I enjoy the suffering, and I literally break my back to make a living so I can go do this. And so to have people rushing this for potentially a sponsor or rushing it because of a weather window or rushing it because this is how they pay their bills, but at the same time, they're putting my life in danger. I think that's fucking retarded. I think it's absolutely ridiculous. And I've already, talked to my mountains, and I'm well aware, like, if I'm going to go out, yeah, that's how I would prefer to go out, is in the mountains. But let me do it. Let me ruin what I, consider a nice life. Not by a total fucking stranger above me that could give two cares about the person below him. So it's like, it just, especially considering like it's obvious that you're an athlete. We poured our heart and souls into this expedition, and thus far in those 40 days loading the wall and prepping, we've had close calls, but this was like, good grief, man. Yeah. Like, even Harry kicking the block, it was like, that was mitigated. Yeah. That was, and it was a known hazard. Whereas this is like,
and it falls into that category of like, shit happens, and I make no, just like Myles, like I have no, like I fully acknowledge like the risk of what we're doing.
I do think though, when this team definitely had a time window. They had a time window. They wanted to do this in a certain amount of time, and I get that, and I think that's fine, that's cool, but that's very difficult. And even, Tommy and Siebe doing their ascent, it took them 3 tries to accomplish what they did. And 2 of those tries, they got smoked. And on the 3rd try, I guarantee not one of those guys is saying, oh yeah, that was like a walk in the park. Yeah. It's extremely difficult. And so to have this team come out and push as hard as they were pushing and creating a hazard, not only for the Chilean team that was up there, but also for us, was absurd. It's like, try another day, or stop. Just please stop. And so just a lack of respect. And I would never do that to someone, even if I was an athlete. It just seems real arrogant in the sense, and the response was arrogant. And you
follow the breadcrumbs, you kind of understand.
Yeah, a little bit. I just was like, come on, man. And they almost killed me, they almost killed Harry, and they almost killed Trevor, and it was unacceptable. But as far as being, I guess, in a different level, like they're very much elite athletes. Like, I will not deny that. I even actually follow them just because I just want to see what's going on. But
this is just an interesting tidbit to kind of bring it full circle, because we were talking about contrasting it with like Chalten and the weather window and everything. Tommy and Siebe basically missed the good weather window by a day every time they tried. Just to give you an idea of like how unstable it can be, like we'd have like a really good day, and then the next day be like, oh, there they are. They're going for it again.
Yeah.
Should have been here 12 hours ago. Anyway, that's
that
a
weather
total
window
sidebar.
concept, though, and that's what that team was very much chasing. It was all about the weather window, and I had to, I was trying to explain. I'm like, you're not going to get this weather window that you're looking for. Like, it doesn't exist. It's like, you think you're going to get 10 days of good weather because you saw Tyler Karow's video? You're like, that's not how this works. That was incredible that he got that lucky, and that's awesome. But
Is that what he had? He had a 10-day weather
he had
window?
a 10-day weather window. Yeah. And he just nailed the timing and like, awesome. Good job, man. Yeah. But at the same time, that's not how it works there. And
So funny, the perception. Like, I mean, I guess it's different in people who are actually going out and doing this route, but maybe not. Like maybe Tyler Karow's video gave people an unrealistic expectation.
100%. Every
kind of
single
what we
person had screenshots of that video from the Chilean team to, I believe, even the French team to even Tommy and Siebe had screenshots of it. And, it's an interesting perspective because it's like, one guy does the route, God, was it 15, 20 years after it had been free climbed and makes a good video. And Tyler's an amazing climber, but like it definitely portrayed the Central Tower as this like, oh yeah, look at
Like
this.
a crag day almost.
Oh yeah, man,
Yeah.
it's not it. It's not it. It's just, the stars aligned for him and it's awesome. But the reality is no, this like personally, I think it's hell on earth.
Yeah, we didn't have a Dutch oven up there.
I know, like the whole videos of like cooking, fucking drinking wine and cooking cookies, and you guys are like dying on the fucking wall. Yeah.
I have 99 nights on this east face of the Central Tower, and never have I had a splendid day like that.
Wow.
Yeah, I was like, whoa, this is ridiculous. So yeah, that actual video definitely promoted, and since it wasn't the weather like we had on the first expedition, it would not surprise me if the weather on the first expedition, if it was better, it probably would have looked the same way. There wasn't anything that all of a sudden hyped it up for the next year. We stayed quiet. But like I had messaged Tommy as well to try to be like, hey, just like how I talked with Nico, like, hey, I heard rumors that you're coming up to do this because it's a small network, right? And I just want to make sure that like I'm not putting you in harm's way, and if we could figure out a way to communicate. And I never heard back from him, which was kind of a bummer.
Wow.
Yeah, I've reached out to him just to try to communicate in that sense, and it didn't.
Do you have a unique perspective? I've spoken with you a little bit about this, and I want to talk to there's a couple people. I've been speaking to so many people lately. It's crazy. Have you guys watched The Office at all?
Yeah.
Remember that?
I don't have cable.
No, The Office is like fucking the 90s, dude.
Yeah, still. I don't.
All right. Anyway,
He's very culturally.
I watch I look at like eBay for fun, man.
all right, it's all good. Anyway, remember the
Go on.
Remember the
Enjoy this conversation. I'll just step out over here. I'll be the lighting guy.
remember the episode of The Inner Circle?
Maybe.
Okay. Anyway, like the concept of an inner circle when it comes to the climbing industry.
Yes.
Have you run into that?
Yes. And
Describe your experience with that.
I mean, I feel like there's a cool kids club. And I feel like a lot of it comes down to you climb in and around Yosemite Valley or you don't. And
Interesting.
Trevor calls it a secret handshake.
yeah. Yeah, like,
And what are your thoughts on why it exists?
I really don't know, man.
To me, I think there's only so much money to go around.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think that's part of it. There's only so much money to go around. And like, in some ways, I kind of get gatekeeping things sometimes. Like, as someone who really likes going and doing like first ascents or like first free ascents and stuff.
We
like,
gatekeep stuff.
especially on like trad climbs, like, I have no claim to, like all I'm counting on is the good faith that somebody else isn't going to go do this before me if it's not a route that I've like put the money into like putting bolts in or whatever. So yeah, I certainly like will keep things
Close
quiet.
to the chest. Yeah.
Yeah. On the other hand, like I would never like, I don't know. I try to be friendly to people. Yeah, I mean, I think the money. I think the money thing is a really good point that I hadn't really considered.
And I think to me, like, there's only so much money to go around, and that causes a competition for resources.
Yeah,
And that causes the people who have it to protect it and to only give it when there is an opportunity to give it to someone else in their network that they are willing to bring in.
yeah,
And unless you're a part of that, you're never going to break that fucking circle.
yeah, totally. And I mean that is somewhat reflective of other experiences I've had running into other teams of sponsored climbers, where like, they basically almost had this like bubble in base camp because it was like a shared space. I'm not going to elaborate too much on the details but very much they showed up and it was like, oh, like the entourage is here. Like, what's these guys' deal? And I basically had to like, hey, like, I'm going to introduce myself to you guys and we're going to talk because
We're fucking humans, yeah.
Yeah, we're fucking humans, and I'm gonna make you talk to me and like acknowledge me.
Yeah,
and we're
yeah.
gonna like discuss.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bet you guys do want to know where I got weed, huh?
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
I would say, as far as like, would I sponsor Myles Moser?
No, I mean, yeah.
Like,
have you heard the things that come out of that guy's
kind
mouth?
of like I'm kind of a renegade of funk. I'm just like, yeah, it's a big rock. It's gonna be mine.
Yeah.
I'm gonna.
No, I mean, it's a fair point. Everybody wants something from the pie.
Yeah.
And then I can imagine it just being like, you're not there.
My big thing is, I think, with what we accomplished is this was a major first ascent, and it is a very, very proud route. No one's going to know how proud it is until it gets repeated and talked about. But it's on one of the biggest walls in the world, and it's a very formidable climb that is intimidating until you're on it, but it's also designed for the on-site. And I find that really exciting because that's kind of how I set most of my routes. I don't really need you to go up there and aid climb A3 to then preset and clean and put in micro nuts. And so the fact that these random dudes pretty much from Lone Pine, California, just went out there and tackled one of the biggest walls in the world on their own dime, I think is a pretty radical accomplishment. And that's what it used to be, but we don't have the numbers. If we had free climbed the thing, yeah, sure, people probably be really psyched and maybe there would be some help for the next expedition. But for the most part, it's just like, yeah, we went and did all the fucking dirty work. Now somebody else is gonna be psyched.
Before we get back to it, if you've been listening to the show, you probably know how much time and effort and love I put into this project. The research, the conversations, the production, the editing, all of it. And while it might seem like I've got a team of people on this project, I don't. It's just me. And even with sponsors, I spend a large amount of my own personal money on this project simply because I love it. If you're a listener that's looking for a way to give back to this show in a meaningful way, please become a Patreon subscriber. Once you become a supporting member of the Climbing Majority, not only will you feel really good about yourself, but you'll also get access to the ad-free version of the show and exclusive content. If this speaks to you, click the link in the description or go to patreon.com/theclimbingmajoritypodcast to become a supporting member of the show today.
All right. Let's bring this home. All right. I think the best way to end this is with the summit push.
Oh, man.
I don't think our audience has been with us for probably 4 hours now. So let's bring them to the top.
All right, I think though there's two important things about the summit push.
Mm-hmm.
The first attempt for the summit push, and then the actual summit push.
Okay. Tell me the story.
Well,
So we were waiting for maybe 5 days. We'd taken things to a point where we had 3 pitches left to pioneer. Like we'd gotten to this kind of like sub shoulder, and we were to have another like 3 pitches to Pioneer that would then put us on like the shoulder of the tower.
Meeting up with the other route, right?
Yeah, so the Bonington Willans, the original route on the tower, climbs the right skyline, and that we meet that at the shoulder, and then we take that for like 5 pitches up and across the summit ridge. And we were waiting and waiting and waiting for a weather window.
Days.
To actually push, because like it turned to shit, and we were getting hammered.
How many feet of fixed rope do you think we got to jug?
Probably,
Each day?
Well,
or to get to the...
We made one genuine attempt. Which,
yeah, we probably had 1,500 feet of jugging to get up to the high point.
And then the plan is to jug 1,500, then Pioneer 3 new pitches, and then tie into the Bonington Williams for 9 more pitches.
Because there's no place to set up another camp.
No, not really.
And we realized like we just couldn't move camp again. Like it was too much energy. It was too. There was no better place. There was no. It just didn't make sense.
We had sat out some insanely ferocious windstorms that we didn't feel a damn thing. Because meanwhile, like Stefano, the Italian on Riders on the Storm, his portaledge got flipped. The Caro North and her team, they were getting rock rattled and rolled. And meanwhile, our location, it just went around us.
Something about it.
And it was perfect. So it's like, don't move. I can't remember exactly how many days. I know it's written down, but we sat for quite a while. Yeah. And we started getting stir crazy. And we're watching the report. And I can't recall if at this point I've reached out to Rolando Garibaldi.
I think I think we were in touch with him at this point.
You guys were going back and forth for multiple days.
I can't remember though if it was. I don't think it was prior to us getting our shit kicked in. I think we got our shit kicked in, and then I reached out and I was like, "Yo,
I could check the inReach messages.
Like,
we could verify.
I actually have them all copied in the journal. Anywho, what ended up taking place on the first run was we got stir crazy and needed to get the hell out of the portaledge, because I want to say we sat for 4 days. Yeah, 4 days or 5 days, just waiting for the storm to clear, because we really need 24 hours of clear weather for what we have to do. Just the pioneering 3 pitches, the jugging, and all of that. Just so much work.
And you guys are rotting at this point.
Oh, we're rotten. We are.
Describe your state at this point.
I mean, we're like, not really basic, like, we're just fried.
What about like the smell?
Awful.
Dead rats.
Rotten fish.
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah.
Battling probably like UTI infections, just like on the cusp. Just doing our best to stay clean, but at the same time, like,
I mean, the interior of the portaledge just smells like mold, because there's like, there's just a bunch of damp inside, and then like, you're spilling little bits of food or whatever.
My heels,
that's like,
from sitting on the portaledge, heels, toes up, heels down, were screaming, and it felt like I was getting bed sores on my heels.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was my back's going out because you're sleeping in a crappy ass hammock essentially, right?
What do you do to kill the time for 4 days?
Well, I mean,
shut down.
Yeah.
Just try to sleep as much as possible.
Sleep, music, books.
Yeah, even sleeping though, it was kind of impossible because it's tough. But I kept my journal. I was writing letters to Sarah.
We watched all 3 of the Iron Man movies.
Yeah, twice. Hence the
Nice.
name of the bivvy, Iron Man bivvy.
Nice.
Yeah, Harry definitely would plug in and ignore me. You can put it in his headphones.
Well, because
I mean, dude,
like
you
to
gotta-
listen to music that is not everyone's taste.
What do you listen to?
I like to listen. Well, I listen to all kinds of stuff, but like specifically, sometimes I want to listen to like really hardcore, like heavy punk.
Okay.
And this is not everyone's cup of
Yeah,
tea.
I
Like, get it.
respect that.
Yeah,
Yeah, you don't want to just fucking bring everybody into your world. It's like,
yeah.
We make a summit push on, was that day 29, I believe, on the wall. I recall.
Yes, that sounds right.
And I mean, we wake up at 4 a.m. and the sun's coming up eventually, and the colors, and I've made this mistake out there before, are just like fucking unbelievable. I mean, like if you were on drugs, this would be unbelievable. And not being on drugs, it's fucking incredible. You're just like, everything's purple and pink and the stars are out and the fucking moon's out. You're just like, what the? Whoa. Like, yeah, we're going to get some. And we start Jumaring. Harry's up first. I'm in the middle. Trevi's the caboose. And I get into the vortex chimney and I'm Jumaring and I radio over. I'm like, yo, Harry, is it like leaking water up there like it is? Because it wasn't really drenching us in any way, shape, or form at the portaledge. Didn't really even show us. Yeah. Something must have moved in and like sat on the summit and saturated this thing. And eventually it just turned the whole thing into a waterfall. I mean, like running fucking water, like an insane amount of water. And we're jugging and we're like, yeah, we're going to do this. And then all of a sudden we get to a point, we kind of have this like little hump that you get over and you really get exposed because you're looking at the coal bitch is what it's called. And it's in between the central tower and the north tower. And it just starts fucking ripping. I mean, unbelievable. Like it felt like 100-mile-per-hour winds. I'm watching Harry above me Jumaring and I'm watching him get tossed. I mean, like we are getting ragdolled on our ropes. Like, you know, I can hear Trevi below be like, wee! And it's like he is getting tossed. The ropes are all serpenting, and I'm just like, we get up to our high point eventually, and it's just like, you know, Harry and I are sitting there waiting for Trev to come up, and all of a sudden our red leader, we call it, it's the haul bag it's got all our stuff in it for pioneering. And this bag gets picked up and just bam, hits me in the face. And the bag weighs like 30, 40 pounds. And then all of a sudden, Harry gets picked up off the belay and slammed into me. So we've just jugged 1,500 feet and we're just getting hammered and we're soaked to the bone. And I mean, terrifying, right, Harry? Mm-hmm. Like it was gnarly. Yeah. Because it's overhanging ropes and, you know, these.
Yeah, and you are completely out of control.
Yeah.
When you're being blown around.
Oh, man.
You know, it's like.
And then the waterfalls coming off the wall are hitting us in the face. So we convene at our high point, and it's just like, after Harry got tossed in the haul bag, it hit me in the face. I was like, not today, boys.
Yeah.
Not today. And so we end up throwing in the towel. Did a little bit of work. We emptied some equipment just to prep for a true summit day. But that was like our stir crazy. We're going stir crazy. We need this summit, and we fucking punted it. And so now we have to go all the way back down, and we are wasted. I mean, exhausted. We go all the way back down to the portaledge, and you know, I have a picture of Trevor with his boots hanging out that I'll send you, and you can just see it in the dude's face. It's like, can we do that again? How many times can we make an attempt for the summit and get shut down like this? Because that 1,500 or 2,000 feet of rope is a fucking nightmare to jug.
At this point, we're coming up with philosophical justifications that, sure, we didn't get those last 3 pitches to the shoulder, but like anybody that comes up here and does this, like you're not putting up a new route, you're repeating it. Like, anyway, to show you where our mental state was.
we're like sitting there being like, oh God, if we bail, we're like that close to the shoulder because it's 3 pitches from the shoulder. So then I believe what happens is I reached out to Rolando Garibaldi because I had his number. And we've talked for quite a while, just distantly. And, you know, he's just kind of a weather guru down there. And he was extremely vital into us having the appropriate information as to when to go. And so that was on a Friday, right?
Yes,
if I recall.
I think so.
And then he was like, your best option is Monday?
I think it was like Wednesday.
Oh, my God.
It kept pushing.
Yeah, it kind of kept pushing. We kept having like hopeful days, and then it like wouldn't look right, and like we're really like we cannot afford
a fuck up number 2.
To fuck it up again. Yeah.
This is your last attempt.
Yes, exactly. Like whether we do it or not, like we're done. And finally, and I forget the specific day of the week, but he like called
nailed it.
Nailed it.
Absolutely nailed it.
Was like, and it might have even been like the following Friday.
We had to sit, I'm pretty sure, for like 5 or 6 days, man.
Fuck.
Oh, you got to understand, like, you know, and now we're not playing nice.
And what kind of conditions are preventing you from like precipitation, wind? What is it? Snow?
Oh, it's wind. It is extreme cold. We're in the notch essentially, so you just get fucking hammered, man.
Yeah, and it's like people have been shut down really close to the summit because the wind tends to come from the west, and so when you're climbing the east face, like you get up to a point, but you still have to go a good ways on the summit ridge to gain the proper summit. It's like.
And it's real.
Another 3 or 4 pitches of like pretty real climbing that like you want to stay roped up for. But the wind just becomes way more intense. Like however intense it is on the east, when you're on the summit ridge or on the west, it's even.
Yeah. Many teams have been shut down because as soon as they get up there, it's just like, oh, it's gnarly. And, you know, it's not 3rd, 4th, 5th class climbing. It's like pretty solid 5'10" icy cracks on the Boddington-Willans route.
Yeah, I mean, there is a 5'10" pitch right before you get to the true summit.
Yeah,
like
you're gunning, and so you know Rolando nails it. He nails this day, and we start our day super early. I think Harry and I have to wake up before because we're kind of lazy.
Yeah, we like I like a long morning.
Yeah.
I'm willing to wake up
and
earlier.
we get up there and we start the pioneering process, and it's just this like, oh shit, we gotta unlock 3 pitches of unknown grade to get to the shoulder, and then from the shoulder we will take off on the Boddington-Willans route,
which is still new terrain for you both.
I have actually had to do this section just because of Unfini and Linia.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I know what it's like.
I'd never been up there.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
But honestly, like, it pretty much went off without a hitch.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Rolando completely nailed the day of the weather. Like, we had the perfect conditions.
Seems like it was still hella windy though.
Oh yeah.
It was, but not nearly as bad as it could have been.
Yeah.
Yeah. When we summited and then started descending, we summited, I believe, as a team at 9 p.m.
Yeah, it was like golden hour.
It was awesome.
You know, and we could, like, I think the coolest part was you can see like the whole shadow of the mountain going down the valley, and you're like pointing, like, we're right on the
you got this. You got the shadow like doing the long triangle thing, and but it was 9, and then you have to reverse a lot of this ridge stuff, and that's complicated. It's funky, and then the wind picked up, and we are just like. We're also to the point too. We replaced all the anchors on the Boddington with new cord. It's all these pitons and stuff, and we added a few pins just because it's like we're the dumb gringos that man, like this is not how I'm gonna die. I'm not rappelling off rotten garbage after we put up that much time and effort. So it's like we brought a 300-foot haul line, and I think we only had maybe 50 feet left of it.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, these huge spiderweb piton anchors. So we updated.
Which meant that the whole summit push day, I was climbing with a 300-foot rope on my back.
and we each had 8,000 meter boots.
Oh, my God.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And so we got down to the shoulder, and there happened to be a group bivvying on the shoulder. There's a bivvy cave there for the Boddington route. And it's the local Chileans up there. And, come to be, we get to know these guys once we're in town. And they're like, you guys were like the astronauts at 1 a.m. because we're coming down in our 8,000 meter boots. And we are gone. I mean, we're in there, but we're hanging in. And so we end up taking a break and resting and, spooked them while they were sleeping because it was probably about 2 a.m. And then, we started descending, and we had fixed lines at this point now going to the shoulder. And so now it became an operation of pulling ropes down until I couldn't pull ropes down anymore. Harry went down first. Trevor was with me for a while, and then Trevor bugged out. And, I just kept pulling ropes. And I think I managed to pull down about 500 feet of ropes, got back down to these guys at 6 a.m. in the morning, and just was like, the fuck do we do now?
Yeah, I was just like what the fuck?
Which is brutal because now we still have 1,500 feet of fixed line above us that we have to retrieve. And so
How are you retrieving fixed lines like that?
you have to go up jug, and then you end up taking one. A lot of the pitches broke down to 35 meters based upon their stiffness. So like if a pitch was like a 12A pitch, it was only probably 35. So you're able to like take that fixed line and use it as a double rope, and then from there. So you just end up wrapping and pulling them all down independently. But you end up with, I mean, piles of carabiners and piles of equipment. And so it gets quite heavy. And so we rested for 2 days. And then, which we had to. We were fucking wasted. I mean, like,
You're so fucked up.
we were
24-hour push. Yeah.
yeah, but also after
Yeah.
sitting for 6 days.
Yeah, I mean that was another thing. Like our muscles were definitely
Oh,
atrophying.
dude.
Like it's not like you're stretching out or it's like it's 6 days of either you're like back up against the wall and your legs like kind of scrunched up in front of you, or you're lying down.
Yeah, brutal.
No standing?
I mean, you could stand, but like only if you're sticking your head out the door and it's snowing.
Yeah.
You still have to because you got to pee and you got to poop. But like,
Ironman Bivy only had like a 4x2 foot granite ledge in between the two porta ledges. There's nowhere to walk around. The wall is so steep that it's like you're strapped in hard, and you're leaning when you're on the ledge. You're not even like standing comfortably. And so then we rested for 2 days, retrieved our ropes. Trevi started moving equipment down, and we, like I was saying, it took us 7 days to exit the wall. So it was 2 rest days, and then it took us 5 more days, because what would happen is as soon as you break down that portal ledge and you're like, all right, we're going to descend down, Ned knows. He knows. He's like, oh yeah, you're going to move? I'm going to fuck you. And so as soon as we get down to these guys, I'm in charge of fixed ropes on the way down. I'm taking them down. Yeah. These guys are, and we've pre-shuttled equipment down over, when days weren't ideal, it was like, okay, let's get shit together and we're going to move some stuff down, just a little ways. We got this much rope, we're going to move it down that much. And so what ended up happening was we got down to the shattered pillar at some point, because what we did is we moved equipment down the shattered pillar, jugged back up at 11 o'clock at night, and then descended the next day to the shattered pillar. And these guys are setting up the porta ledge. And I mean, possibly one of the worst storms we had dealt with that whole trip.
Oh, 100%. Wow. I mean, not even after setting up the porta ledge, like we're all going down.
Dihedrals are just avalanching.
Nuking. Yeah, I mean, the whole wall is avalanching spindrift on us. I'm standing on the shattered pillar, and in minutes, I'm getting buried up to my knees.
Yeah.
Wow.
And Trevor and I are like just trying to keep it together and get the portal edges set up as we're, I mean, I remember like looking up and being like, whoa, that's a bunch of snow avalanching off the wall, as it all like came into my hood. There's a photo Trevor took of Myles and I, like immediately like in the midst of this, where we just look absolutely miserable.
Yeah. Meanwhile, they're building camp. They have to build 2 portal
so we have to get the portal edges set up in that. And
I'm like 1,000 feet above pulling ropes, and I'm alone up there, and I'm looking down, and I can see him. Then all of a sudden I can't see him, and then all of a sudden I'm like, oh shit. I'm like alone up here. I got to keep working to like stay warm. And I like get further, because the deal is what's going to happen is if I don't do my job, I have to come back up, or they have to come back up, frozen ropes, to then retrieve these. It just throws the whole thing off. So it was like just this nightmare to descend. And then literally I get down there and they have the ledges up, and it's like feet of snow in like an hour.
oh yeah,
It was utterly insane, and we're all soaked to the bone. We are not physically ready for what just happened. And then we woke up the next morning to a complete burial again. And it was like, fuck, he won't let us go. Just let us go. And then we began the same process where we rappelled down. The following day, did we make it all the way to the glacier to drop shit off?
I think we did, yeah. And that was gnarly. So like we fixed down the wall. And I think at this point, like when we got down to the shattered pillar and moved camp down, we rope fixed below the shattered pillar. So we were a good ways down, but we made it down to the glacier, and then we had to go back up.
Yeah, so we touched
man.
ground. All three of us touched the glacier.
Yeah.
And then immediately had to jug back up to go sleep on the shattered pillar again
Fuck.
because that was just a load.
Yeah.
And so then we had to like dive into our soggy ass wet shit again. And then the next morning we're sitting there and be like, man, is he going to get us again? I swear to God, if he gets us again. And you know what? He let us go, but we kind of got out of there by the skin of our teeth, right?
Pretty much. I mean, I remember we had like pretty good weather getting out of there the last day.
Mm-hmm. And you know what? There was another issue, a serious issue that we were dealing with, and that was the fact that our visas were about to expire.
Yeah.
And I think that was also one of those things. It was like, oh my God, we are going to get off of this wall and then we're going to get detained at the border. Mm-hmm. And it just is something we don't need. And so once we finally got off of the wall, we hammered in some snow pickets and anchored off actually, I think we just slung blocks that fell off the wall. Yeah. And anchored all of our equipment and abandoned it all on the glacier for 10 days and got the fuck out of there.
Wow.
And hightailed it to Sheltan with 3 days to spare before our visas expired.
Holy shit.
And for the record, we didn't have to go all the way to Sheltan specifically to renew our visas. We just had to cross into Argentina and come back. We wanted to go buy Rolando lunch because he was such a huge help to us, but we weren't able to make that happen.
Yeah. Yeah, we wanted to thank him for what he had done,
Yeah.
which would have been pretty sweet.
Yeah.
But so then we kicked it in Sheltan for 3 days?
Yeah, 2-3 days, something like that.
And then came back, and then it was like a whole nother month of labor.
Fuck, a month?
It was maybe like 2 more weeks. So we had like
Still, holy
we came
shit.
out.
Yeah.
We had our like 10 days to like rest and recuperate, and then we went back in for maybe 5 days. Brought porters in, got everything off the glacier, went back out. We had just like a couple little things left that was like this final T to cross. That
We got
like,
stuck with 4 5-gallon buckets of human waste.
yeah,
We got stuck with easily over
50 pounds is what you wrote.
something like that. Yeah,
easily of human waste that we thought that the Park Service was going to fly out because they take out big bundles of garbage. And they were like, we can't do it this time, Myles. I was like, oh, okay, damn. And so literally the only thing we left on the wall was bolts, pitons, and rappel cord and some carabiners, but no garbage or human waste of any kind.
yeah.
And then the sad part is we then had to figure out how to get this poop for 41 days back to Natalis, which is the tiny little town, which means like, okay, we can't put that on the bus. Then we had to rent a car, and then we had to pay our buddy who has farmland and be like, yo, look, we need to dig a big fucking hole. And like literally these buckets haunted us. It was just like,
it was
God.
such a saga.
oh my God, because it was like, all right, great.
All right, we should have just thrown these in a crevasse.
absolutely not. Like,
No,
It
absolutely
was one of
not.
these things
But
that it was like, God damn it, the expedition's over and I'm sitting on 4 5-gallon buckets of fucking poop.
Yeah.
What do I do with this? And so
yeah, some of our friends were like, "Well, you could just flush it one bag at a time."
you're out of your mind.
Yeah,
Not happening. And so we ended up digging a hole on the farmland and disposing of it that way. And I am so grateful that our friend allowed us to do that, because it was this like haunting. It was like literally you went to our base camp and it was like a flattened out haul bag and then 4 buckets of human shit. And you're just like,
What the fuck am I supposed to do with this? Fuck. Yeah. Yeah.
like, no, this is, no good deed goes unpunished. So we literally had to cart this around for like days.
Wow.
It was brutal. But that was, we renewed our visas, and to be honest, we put up a hell of a fine route, and we really didn't leave any trace other than, the the hardware for free climbing, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially 41 days on a wall. You know, we didn't have any stuck ropes. We didn't have any garbage that got away from us. We were like, we're in a pretty damn tight ship to take care of that place.
It's awesome.
Yeah. Nothing really got dropped.
I don't think so. I think Trevi lost like a carabiner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that ascender that got lost on the summit and found by the team that we passed on the way down, that went out of their way to try and like give it back to us.
Yeah, we did lose an ascender. They're like,
And
yeah,
we
we
were like,
found
no,
this
keep
thing.
it.
Yeah, at some point on the summit day, something had happened. I was pretty fucking delirious. And I think I just started unclipping cams and dropping them. Because I turned around at one point, I had a belay, and I was like, whoa, look at all these cams on the ground. I'm like, oh, wait a minute, those are mine. And so somehow a party, the guys that call us the astronauts, found an ascender. And they're like, hey, we got your ascender. I'm like, keep. And they're like, really?
I heard you almost dropped your bag too.
Oh, yeah, we forgot about that. Okay, so summit day. Yeah, this needs to be, whatever, edit this in to be in the middle of the summit push day. So we make it to the shoulder. Like, we pioneer those 3 pitches. We make it to the shoulder.
I thought it was gone, dude.
We're fucking psyched. All 3 of us had taken off our jugging packs and set them down in this, like, scree field, basically, that is the shoulder. And whatever reason, like, I like went to put something in my bag, and then I step away, and I must have dislodged the rocks, because the next thing I know, my bag with my parka and my food and my headlamp is rolling to the void.
Oh, and it goes over.
It goes over.
It goes fucking over. Oh, yeah, dude.
Well,
We're
it's
all
like we
unroped.
move, and Trevor's... Yeah, we're all unroped, too. And, like, Myles and I both kind of move, and Trevor's like, no. Like,
Trevor always was the voice of reason.
Yeah.
Absolutely, dude.
and ultimately, just, again, like, one of those moments with the fucking magic, you know, it goes off the edge over this dihedral and lands on the previous belay ledge.
Wow.
And I wrap down, and it's sitting right there.
Yeah, that was definitely a...
Yeah,
oh.
I forgot to mention that because I just don't like to think about that one.
Yeah, me neither. That was a whoops.
Oh man,
Yeah.
I can't imagine that feeling when that bag rolled off the edge.
Yeah, and it was just like, you
Mortified.
know, why didn't we secure, like, we've got an anchor right there for our rappel. Like,
Yeah.
my bag has a tether on it. Like, yeah,
Wow.
just,
All in all, I got to say it was a hell of an adventure.
yeah.
But, you know, I think some time, but there's still, you know, my big thing. Still the South Tower.
I was about to say, is that like a harder route, like a harder tower? How does it compare to the other 2?
No, I think, you know, the Central Tower is just so massive. I think it boils down to style. You know, the North Tower, when Amy and I had FA'd that, was intentionally to try to free it. We got a, like, 512C1. But that was also mostly splitter crack climbing. This Central Tower was intentionally to try to go out and put up one of the hardest free climbs up there, which is incredible. Absolutely. Whereas I think the South Tower, if I was to go back to get the east face of the South Tower, because you got to finish the trifecta.
Yeah.
I walked the line whether to try to do a free or just get up the goddamn thing. You know, just getting up, it makes a lot of sense because...
Yeah, I would love, you know, and Myles and I were talking about this. I don't know if I'll ever approach a wall like this with
just
that
talked about
intention
this. Yeah.
of like trying to put up a really high quality free line, because like, you know, I don't think it would have taken us 40 days to get up that thing had we just been aiding and hand drilling 1/4-inch bolts, and, you know,
Yeah, it would have been a lot different.
yeah, would have been a much different route, much different experience. But like, I don't think it would have taken us
No,
41 days.
we would have just stood in the stirrups and gone to work. Whereas, you know,
And I like aid climbing. Like I legitimately like enjoy aid climbing almost as much as I enjoy free climbing. I'm like a weirdo, but
yeah, and Harry climbs really hard. So for him to say he likes aid climbing, he likes really sketchy aid.
yeah.
I just get stuck in sketchy aid because it's like I'm studying the free climbing. So yeah, I'm sure I will be back in the Piney at some point, but I don't know if I need to do that anytime soon.
How was landing back to your normal lives
Dude,
very
it was
weird.
So weird.
Very weird. Yeah.
Because I went back to Florida. Like, I went back. So, like, I spent maybe a month in the lead up to the expedition back home with family because I've been out in Lone Pine all season. And, like, my mom's place is still kind of my home base while I'm still effectively a dirtbag, yeah, going from that into Florida was like, so, I mean, and also, I don't really know anybody in the city my mom lives in and variety of factors, but, it was just so weird, like going to the gym I'd been training in the lead up and like people knew that I was going down there, but they didn't really know what I was doing or anything. And, it's like you get back and like, so did you have fun in Patagonia? Was it a good trip? It's like, what was the highlight? Well, we made history. I hope that our ascent will go down in the annals of like great adventures that people have had in mountaineering and climbing. But no, it was not fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was, when I got home, it definitely was a shell shock for me. My town has fire alarms that go off at 12 noon every day.
Like
Yeah. And so to be sitting there and like I was saying, it's a fighter jet place. They pretend mock bomb my town all the time. So to all of a sudden have these like fighter jets and sirens going off while I'm sitting peacefully on my deck, I was just like, whoa, like extreme shell shock, being like, I'm not ready for this. And definitely had some really deep processing to do when I got home. Yeah, very. 41 days, that's 30 was the longest I've ever been on a wall. To be 41 days vertical, I personally think it's
Humans aren't supposed to do that.
no, you're not supposed to do that, and it takes a toll on you mentally and physically. Yeah. I'm not saying that I wouldn't do it again, but I definitely, man, I don't know if I can do it quite like that. That was extreme. That was very extreme, and I just didn't like the fact that you started rotting so badly. That was the hardest part for me. I was like, man, I'm just breaking down. This isn't working.
How long ago has it been since you landed back in the States?
We got stateside March.
It was like March 31st.
Are you guys fully recovered yet?
I feel.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. I feel like, cause like I was like back, like I got back to the States. I was with my mom for like 2 weeks, and then I ended up flying to Maine for 2 months to go work. And like in that time, I feel like I was really able to like buckle down and like train hard and kind of get everything back. Yeah, I feel like physically more or less I have recovered.
I think for me, something that came out of it was a little interesting is because Ugo moved in for a month and helped me go back to work. He jumped on my construction crew, and it was just awesome to kick it with him and hang out. But we went climbing a bunch, and I got to see how little I care about whether or not I like fell, just because it was like home turf, and I was just like
rock climbing.
Yeah, just climbing, just being like, oh yeah, go for it. Let's see how this goes. Yeah, hope this works. Hey, look at that, I'm barely hanging on. Ow, this hurts. And I'm like, I'm not like 3,000 feet in the air above a glacier. I'm fine. I'm like, this is way nicer. And so that was something that was kind of entertaining because I was very much like, like, yeah, not, you get stressed out when you go climbing.
Yeah, it's all about perspective.
Yeah, you just get a little worked up. Whereas after doing that, the finding the route and pioneering it, there's a whole different level of stress. And so just to go climb, I was like, this is great. I was like, I don't care. But no, I think I'm healed up. I just, financially, I'm not. Like, oh God. Oh my God.
What does that accomplishment both mean to each of you individually?
For me? Harry, you got that? I'll think on that for a minute.
I mean, I think for me, it's kind of the culmination of my whole life up to that point. And I've had a couple of other moments that felt very similarly in the past, of sort of these like
benchmarks
are kind of like everything in my life has led me up to this point, and you get through that and then there's the next thing, right? But, I grew up, I've spent my whole life like camping and backpacking and or like discovering climbing. And so like one way or the other, all of that was leading to this, to go spend 3 months living outside in the harshest environment on the planet, doing the hardest physical climbing I could basically possibly do for 40 days. Yeah,
Did it change who you were?
I think so.
Change who you are in what way?
I feel much more confident, just like in myself. And I guess like, and I guess that's ultimately like what I'm seeking from climbing in general, not necessarily like confidence per se, but just like these life affirming experiences that just sit with me and like are fundamental to who I am at this point.
How does that confidence carry into your life outside of climbing?
I feel like my life is so entwined with climbing at this point that like it's hard to separate one from the other. But
Do you feel it when you speak to strangers? Do you feel it
Totally,
when you look for a new job? Has this experience like grounded you in the sense of who you are?
Yeah, I think so. I think certainly like forever that's going to be something that I did in my life that's like, that was one of the things, like there's so much to life, but like that I see as like one of the great achievements of my life.
Myles had said that he accepts death when he goes on to these objectives. Do you do the same?
Yeah. Yeah, you can't not.
Would you, if you were for some reason if the mountains were for some reason to claim your life on your like next big one, would you feel like you've still like you've lived a life well lived up to this point?
I think so. I think that, I have, for the most part, lived a life where I have not compromised on my principles and have not compromised on pursuing what I want out of life, regardless of societal expectations or, financial whatever. Like, I think I have adamantly been who I want to be and have worked as hard as possible to manifest that version of myself and to actualize that version of myself.
Yeah. It's awesome, dude.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Pretty good there,
Congratulations.
Thanks.
Myles?
I think the way you started it was, how do I feel after the expedition? Can't really say that the central tower for me is like it's just another wall. That's how I look at it. I think it's interesting when you look at a wall of granite, for me in particular. It's just like, it's not a normal thing that people can go up and go do, first off. And so I look at it as just an extreme challenge. Do I think the central tower changed me? No, I've been doing this for 22 years at a pretty high level. I think it has taught me a few things, especially when it comes to team dynamics and understanding control of emotions, for sure. I think that's a big one. I'm a boss on a job site and I can't get out of line. But at the same time, usually on a wall, you're with friends, and definitely, some lines definitely got crossed. So it was nice to see checks and balances happen and reflect upon that. Definitely, I would say for me, the biggest thing is what's next. ever since I was a child, I've always had a list, and it's just okay, that's done with. You learn a lot from that, maybe do better for the next one. But I take it as very much I'm happy that everybody walked away safely, and whatever adventure comes next, I just would like to mitigate situations maybe just better, and that's pretty much like, the Central Tower went really great, but that's also because there's decades of experience leading up to that to make that a lot more easier. And we still learn things.
Yeah, totally.
And so for me, I just kind of look at it as what's next. And, there's a list of them. And so.
Do you have a hard time celebrating your achievements?
100%. Yeah, not really good at that.
Does that come with a post-objective depression?
Yeah, I think I dealt with a little bit of that, actually, just, kind of with the hopes that maybe the Central Tower would have reached more people in a sense of, seeing and being like, wow, that was actually a really big thing that went down. But, I also got to recognize I'm not very forthcoming with a ton of stuff, and I don't really have any way other than a social media platform to express that. And so I think maybe a little bit of post-depression, just because it was 2 expeditions, $60,000. We put so much blood, sweat, and tears into that. And that's every single one of those guys. That's Harry, Trevor, Kellen, Hugo. Those guys worked so fucking hard, man. And, they all deserve to be recognized for what they did. But, it just kind of got pushed away. And I get it. It's a big deal in Chile what happened. People down in Chile were really excited to see that happen. But as far as, depression from it, yeah, it was brief, just simply because I thought it was a big goal. I didn't really care that the recognition wasn't there. I just wanted it to be like more recognized as a pretty damn impressive feat for 2026. And
you use the word past tense as thought it was a big goal. What now makes you feel like it wasn't?
It's just like anything. It just kind of fades out into the ether. It's not, even though it's like permanently on the rock, it just will soon fade into, the typical, what would be the word I was using today? Obscurity, but also just like, distractions are a thing. People, you see it as a headline maybe briefly, but then you're distracted, so you don't actually go further. There's just a lot of distractions in the world. And, that's one of the things that I think I find so exciting about those expeditions is you don't really have time to be distracted. You are very focused on the objective, and that begins 50 days before the expedition. And it doesn't end until I'm sitting on my front porch when I get back. And so I think, yeah, definitely post-depression, just a little bit, just simply because I just wish that, people actually got to, there's other outlets that I felt like maybe it could have been seen in, 3 Americans going down there and living 41 days on the side of a cliff at the bottom of South America. Kind of wild.
Yeah. I think the issue is that with the objective that you've done, it seems like there's such a small group of people that actually can fucking grasp what you guys did.
Probably
100%.
And so it's like, it's a translation problem.
Yeah.
Even if Alpinist were to put a magazine article about it, it's like, how many people are going to read it? Number one, how many people are going to read it and actually understand like the scope of what was involved?
Yeah.
Anybody like how many people are going to listen to the 5 hours of podcasting that we've
the director's
done.
cut.
It's like, I would guess not a lot, but like the people who, I'm just saying, like there's a law, it's the scale and the depth and the reality that you went through is just, it's such a peak experience that so little people have the ability to understand what it is.
I went to get my shoes resold at the local climbing shoe cobbler, the Rubber Room up in Bishop, and Tony Jr., Tony Pupo, took it over, and he literally, like, I walked in and he just was like, what you did was fucking awesome. And I'm like, oh yeah, you know, it's okay. He's like, no. And he broke it down for me in a way that I never looked at it. He was like, you didn't quit. He's like, you did not throw in the towel and quit. He was like, that was a test of endurance that most people don't have. And that was something that, you know, hearing that from a, you know, I know Tony, but not on a super personal level. And so to hear him say it like that from what he had read or what he had seen, because he did help build our shoes custom for us. And it was very cool to hear a stranger, in a sense, be like, you didn't quit. That's the hardest thing, is you have the mental capacity to not quit. And I think that's something that I cherish very deeply within myself, is I'm definitely not a quitter. And so to be up there, because God, we could have thrown in the towel so many times. Oh yeah.
Yeah, we were talking about the line in the sand, and
Yeah.
it takes a lot to push it as far as you guys have done.
Absolutely. And so, you know, for Tony to recognize that and say it, I was just like, whoa. I was like, okay, cool. You know, he was really psyched. I just hope maybe there's something that's equal or greater, because I'm kind of going to run out of walls. That's what's going to happen.
You gotta start going to Pakistan, man.
I would love to go to Pakistan, but the thing is, it's like, I can't.
You need money for that one.
Man, it's gnarly. It's so gnarly. You know, I call myself a prostitute because I have to break my back and, you know, sell the carpal tunnel in my hands to make a living to go do these expeditions. And it's hard. It's just really hard. So, you know, to do construction for 8 months and then be like, all right, let's go blow it all on an expedition. It's just like, fuck. Like, it's just work and work. It's the same thing. So it's tough, but eventually Pakistan. There's a few more things in South America. There's some very cool walls in Brazil. But I think Harry's kind of understands a little more on how I think too, as far as like, there's a certain type of wall.
I think you said the crown jewel for you last time was a new route on the Nameless Tower.
Oh yeah, always. That's always been the big bad for me. That would be, you know, there's, you know, I kind of look at like the Great Train going, you know, it's a massive wall, but it's not, to me, it's just so much more different than the Nameless. The Nameless is very much like the Central Tower. You know, there's just something about that thumb that shoots out of planet Earth that you're just like, whoa, man. And there's not a lot of them. There's very few of them. And, you know, Cerro Torre definitely has that feature to it. And so, but even, you know, Chaltan, it's not like I'm going in there because Harry and I have talked, it wouldn't be like going to Chaltan to live in Chaltan. It would be to go to Chaltan and like live underneath the base of Cerro Torre. That would be ideal. That's how I would do it. I don't need to be in the town. I need to be at the base of the mountain, feeling the mountain and being like kicked to hell. That's what I get off on. It's really weird.
You've been a part of one. Would you do it again?
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh,
Just not with Myles.
no. No.
Yeah.
I'm a good teammate.
Yeah. No, that's cool, guys. I mean, I'm sure plenty of people have done, but I congratulate you both.
Thank you.
It's been an honor to just like be so close in proximity to an objective like this. You know, I think that, ever since I was a kid, like the first big walls, like first climbing objectives that ever like inspired me was Cerro Torre. Mm-hmm. And so it's funny, I've said this before, but like the more I progressed as a climber, the more a reality check came into my life and realized like how unrealistic that was. And it's, you know, it's the first time in my life where I've started to feel that pendulum swing in the other direction.
Gotcha.
Obviously still super far away from anything that you guys are doing, but just conversations like this, it's an absorption of knowledge. Cool. It's like, you know, living on the wall with you through story. It's just so cool. I just am honored to capture it and share it with everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I think I've had very similar experiences in my career of just kind of like happening to meet the right people to like open my eyes to what might be possible. And just like, it seems so much less mystical when somebody has been there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I totally get what you're, yeah.
Somebody said recently he's been psyched on the pod, and he's like, I booked my first trip to Patagonia.
Oh,
and he's like,
right.
he's like, I've always felt like I'm someone who doesn't belong there, but I'm just gonna fucking do it.
Yeah.
And I responded, I was like, that's the first step to becoming someone who does.
Cool.
It's
Yeah,
like,
that's a great response.
there's a point of where you just got to jump off the cliff and fucking
you got to go
figure
for it.
out. Yeah.
And I honestly, I think that's kind of the coolest thing about what we accomplished down there is the fact that you got to go for it.
Yeah.
And it's about taking a dream and making it a reality. And, first step, think that you can do it. And by four friends that came together, did a great job. And then 3 friends that came together, finished it out. And it's, you don't have to be anybody special. You just got to have the determination and the willing to jump in the ring of fire.
Yeah. What did Trevor say?
He's got some quotes in there.
Perseverance is more important than ambition.
Oh, absolutely, man. That was a good one.
Yeah.
My favorite was, when I get back, I'm going to therapy to make sure I never do this again.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's another one here he has too that's really great. He said, maybe we're already dead and this is hell.
Yeah, that was my favorite one. That was my favorite one.
I've had that weird feeling too. Like I ride my street bike to work every day, and so I'm like weaving through cars. Like climbing's just generally risky, and I have always had this weird feeling where I'm like, maybe I died on the way home.
Yeah, don't
and
know
like
it.
I'm living some weird like separate reality where it's like just a hallucination of a kind or something.
No, I definitely have had some interesting situations while sleeping in a portaledge, being like, am I dead? Is this it?
Is this it? Yeah.
This is too long.
Yeah.
So I understand.
Nice. Well, awesome, guys. I appreciate your time.
Yeah, no
and,
problem.
I appreciate you guys driving all the way out from Lone Pine.
Hey, thanks so much, man.
Yeah, it's been awesome.
Thanks, Kyle.
Sick, dude.
Yeah,
That's
thanks,
it, guys.
Right
Appreciate
on.
you.
Awesome.
All right, ready for some leftovers. You got your leftovers in the car?
Oh, yeah.